This is Nationwide 90 FM, owned and operated by Nationwide News Network. We broadcast from our studios at 6 Bradley Avenue, Kingston 10, Jamaica. Transmitting on the FM 90 band. 90.3 from Peters Rock in St. Andrew and Murphy Hill in St. Anne. Serving Kingston and St. Andrew, St. Catherine, St. Anne, parts of Clarendon, St. Mary, and St. Thomas. 90.5 from Huntley in Manchester, transmitting to St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland, Manchester, Clarendon, rural St. Andrew, and parts of St. Thomas. And 90.7 from Cooper's Hill in St. Andrew and Flower Hill in St. James, serving Westmoreland, Hanover, St. James, sections of Trelawney, Kingston, St. Catherine, Clarendon, St. Mary, Portland, and St. Anne. Nationwide 90 FM also broadcasts on the World Wide Web on nationwideradiojm.com and on Flow on channel 916. Nationwide 90 FM, a revolution in media. You're listening to Nationwide 90 FM. The time is
6 o'clock.
From the studios of Nationwide Radio, morning radio the right way. It's Nationwide This Morning.
A very good morning to you. I'm Tona Thomas. Coming up in the news at 6 for this morning, Monday, May 6, 2024. JPS says it has a contingency plan in place after being put on 72-hour strike notice. Negril chamber to release data today on the impact of the lack of water on tourism in the resort town. Suspected mastermind killed and 3 suspects are in custody as police probe spate of robberies at fast food franchises in the corporate area. In regional news, Australian and American surfers are killed and their bodies dumped in a well in Mexico. In international news, Israeli army tells the Palestinians to evacuate parts of Rafah ahead of an expected assault. In sports, all to play for after first leg semi-finals in Red Nefi Jamaica Premier League. And in business, PB Scott named Master Entrepreneur of the Year. The details after the break.
So, Arosa's Gourmet Outlet is now serving lunch at 53 Upper Waterloo Road, Kingston 8. This gourmet outlet is offering reasonable prices on hams, wines, fresh and smoked meats, sausages, cheese, chocolates, meat and a cheese platter, and so much more. Call them now at 876-999-0191 for more info or visit 53 Upper Waterloo and get great deals all year round.
Catch the first news of the day, a comprehensive package of local, international, sports, and business news. The news at 6 on Nationwide 90 FM.
Now to the details. We begin this morning with news out of St. Thomas. The Hordley Crossing section of the Golden Grove Main Road in St. Thomas leading into Portland is currently impassable. This is due to flooding caused by heavy rain overnight. The Jamaica Constabulary Force in an early morning advisory noted that 2 motorists who were trapped in a vehicle were rescued by the police who responded to a 119 emergency call. Persons are being advised not to venture into the area until they're further updated. The police say persons may also call the 119 Emergency Center for updates. And Jamaicans should brace for more rain over the next 48 to 72 hours. That's according to duty forecaster at the Met Service, Raquel Smith.
We're in the rainfall season, and as such, we expect showers and thunderstorms, especially in the afternoon, going up to the evening hours. For the next 72 hours, we expect the unstable weather conditions to continue. For tomorrow, we expect isolated morning showers and possible thunderstorm across sections of eastern parishes. In the afternoon and evening, we expect scattered showers and thunderstorms across most parishes. For Tuesday, it's a mainly sunny morning. In the afternoon, showers and likely thunderstorm is forecasted for northern, southwestern parishes and hilly areas. And for Wednesday, we expect afternoon showers across sections of southern parishes and hilly areas.
Raquel Smith, the duty forecaster at the Met Service. The Jamaica Public Service Company, JPS, says a contingency plan is in place to minimize any potential impact on service delivery following a 72-hour strike notice served on the company on Sunday. The strike notice was served by the National Workers Union, NWU, on behalf of about 30 JPS workers. The matter concerns the alleged failure by JPS to convert the status of the employees from contract to permanent workers. In a statement on Sunday, JPS said a meeting will be held at the Ministry of Labour on Monday to address the matter. JPS says the conversions under the agreement are being done over the 3-year period, starting in 2023, and are on track for completion by 2025. The company says it's anticipating that the temporary breakdown in conversation with the NWU will be resolved quickly and that the outcome will be satisfactory for all concerned. Meanwhile, General Secretary of the Union of Clerical, Administrative and Supervisory Employees UK, John Levy, says he hopes the matter can be resolved without the need for intervention by the Industrial Disputes Tribunal, IDT.
We do want to urge the company to act quickly and to engage the parties and to avoid, disruptions that can be avoided if we just do what we agree to do and move the process forward. We do have some concerns ourselves, and we believe that the company should do the right thing and to act quickly and act objectively, and let us resolve this matter that has been going on for quite a while now. Employees who have been there 10, 15 years on these fixed-term contracts, losing out on a lot of benefits, still at the forefront, the brunt of a lot of activities.
Mr. Levy says a move to the IDT will further delay the process of transition for the workers.
Moving to the Ministry of Labour sets the stage for trying to get to the IDT. All of us know by now that trying to get to the IDT is not a signal that you want to resolve a matter quickly, and it is going to keep the workers out there for even a very longer period of time. So I would urge the company not to try to use that strategy to try to get to the ministry, to get to the IDT. Right? They need to share that.
John Levy, General Secretary of UK's. Tourism stakeholders in Negril have called a meeting for Monday where they'll discuss the level of fallout from the dry spell that has gripped the resort town for the past 5 months. Chairman of the Negril chapter of the Jamaica Hotel and Tourist Association, JHTA Karen Lanigan, says the polls were taken between April 24 and May 1 to gauge the impact of the water crisis on the tourism sector there.
The 2 polls were taken, one for the tourism workers of Negril and the other for the accommodation sector. Questions were being asked about the water crisis, and JHTA wanted to have a gauge on the opinions of the community and the sector in Negril and its surrounding areas.
Karen Lanigan, chairman of the Negril chapter of the JHTA. A character witness for murder accused Dwayne Pink described him as a kind and caring person. Pink is one of 4 men charged with the murder and conspiracy to murder of businesswoman Simone Campbell Collymore and her taxi driver Winston Walters. The pair, they were shot and killed on Stanley Terrace in Red Hill, St. Andrew on January 2, 2018. Robin Williams reports.
Dwayne Pink is charged with murder and conspiracy to murder. On Friday in the Supreme Court, a character witness testified that, to her knowledge, Pink is the opposite of a murderer. The witness said Pink would visit his grandmother for the holidays in the community where she resides. She conceded that she does not know any of Pink's friends. She testified that upon hearing the news of Pink's alleged association with the murders of Simone Campbell Collymore and her taxi driver Winston Walters, she was shocked and devastated. The witness said she didn't know Pink to be the type of person who would commit such a crime. She said she knew Pink to be a kind man. In an unsworn statement from the dock, Pink declared his innocence. He said that he had no involvement in the double murder. Pink is jointly charged with Simone's husband, Omar Collymore, who's accused of orchestrating the killing, and 2 others, Michael Adams and Shaquila Edwards. The court will hear closing arguments when the trial resumes on Monday morning at 10. Robeanne Williams for Nationwide News.
The police have made a major breakthrough into the investigation of a string of robberies targeting fast food franchises and sections of the corporate area. Nationwide News understands that Burger King, Popeyes, KFC, and Chicken and Tings are among the restaurants that have been hit. A man believed to be the mastermind behind the spate of robberies was shot and killed during a shooting incident in downtown Kingston approximately 2 weeks ago. The deceased has been identified as Stafford Brown. Head of the St. Andrews Central Police Division, Senior Superintendent Marlon Nesbeth, says 3 people are in custody in relation to the robberies.
Since the latter part of last year, corporate area police divisions have gotten reports of robberies committed against fast food franchises. The police responding to these over time have made some inroads into the incidents, and presently 4 persons as perpetrators have been impacted. The alleged mastermind to these incidents, one Stafford Brown, was shot and injured and subsequently died in hospital. The 3 other persons are in custody and are expected to face the courts in regards to these robberies.
SSP Nesbeth says that the investigation has revealed that criminal gangs are colluding to rob fast food restaurants.
What we have picked up, which is significant, is that there is a connection across spaces in corporate area, more so the Kingston Western Belt, regarding criminal persons banding together across gangs to carry out these activities. And the process around the investigations are going smoothly to the extent that we have a joint up effort across law enforcement to bring further closure to this matter and favorable results, as we seek to pursue other persons who we believe are involved in it.
SSP Marlon Nesbeth, head of the St. Andrews Central Police Division. Meanwhile, SSP Nesbeth says the police will continue to work with the business community to minimize or suppress incidents of robberies.
The fact is, our impact should see a lessening of these type of activities based on the persons who are involved and who are at this time impacted, and as we continue to pursue others. The franchises themselves, we have met with security persons connected to them, and there are some amount of target hardening efforts that should help to prevent this type of activities going forward. So we will continue to work with the partners around this to ensure that this is eradicated or minimized significantly in the future.
SSP Marlon Nesbeth, head of the St. Andrews Central Police Division. A 35-year-old shopkeeper from Catherine Hall, Montego Bay, St. James, is believed to have committed suicide on the grounds of the Catherine Hall Primary School on the weekend. The deceased is Andre Nicholson. The police reported that Nicholson was last seen by a security guard on the school compound around 9:50 p.m. on Saturday, May 4. They say the same security guard discovered Nicholson's body in the grades 5 and 6 female bathroom in the afternoon on Sunday. He was lying on his right side in a pool of blood with a gunshot wound to the right side of his head and clutching a Glock 19 pistol. Police recovered a spent shell and 2 bullet fragments from the scene. They say the gun, with its serial number intact, contained 14 live rounds. The firearm was not registered to Nicholson and is not in the database of the Firearm Licensing Authority. Nicholson was reportedly experiencing financial difficulties and had expressed suicidal thoughts. Executive Chairman of the Caribbean Community of Retired Persons, CCRP, Jean-Laure Chin, is calling for greater collaboration among stakeholders to protect the most vulnerable members of the society. The call follows the brutal murder of an 80-year-old woman of Spring Garden in Bamboo St. Anne last Wednesday. The woman, Sylvia Barrett, was found with her hands and feet bound inside her burning house. Mrs. Laurie Chin is condemning the killing.
We were outraged. We were devastated when we heard the news of this 80-year-old matriarch who was so brutally killed. When you hear the interviews with her neighbor, you realize what a valued citizen of that community she was. And it is really distressing, and it is time that we focus on the safety and the protection of our senior citizens. There are many of them are living alone. As you know, several of them have their children living abroad. Their children care for them and send them funds and so on, but they're all by themselves and they're very vulnerable.
Mrs. Laurie Chin says that there is need to have an immediate concerted effort by community members, families, and churches to improve safety and protection of the elderly.
Community and the church needs to step in. And I know there are kind neighbors, there are good church members, but there now needs to be a concerted effort. We have also suggested that we need the Jamaica Fire Brigade on board to help to guide our citizens for fire safety, especially senior citizens and their neighbors, and the neighborhood watch. So we are hoping that the neighborhood watch division of the Jamaica Constabulary Force and that the Jamaica Fire Brigade and church community will have a more cohesive plan to protect our elderly, especially those who are living alone.
Jean Laurie Chin, Executive Chairman of the Caribbean Community of Retired Persons, CCRP. And that's it for the local segment of the news. Up next, regional and international.
Touching lives every day, so many different ways, a part of all you do. Sagicor will make you feel secure, reaching out for more, we'll always see you through. Reach for more, whatever you're dreaming, whatever your goals, will help you achieve them. You're never alone, taking care of today's needs, take care of tomorrow's dreams, every day helping you succeed. That's what Sagicor means. Today's needs, tomorrow's dreams. Sagicor.
In regional and international news this morning, regional news, relatives have identified 3 bodies found in a well as those of 2 Australian surfers and 1 American who went missing last weekend in Mexico. Baja California state prosecutors said the relatives had viewed the corpses recovered from a remote well about 50 feet deep and recognized them as their loved ones. Thieves apparently killed the 3 who were on a surfing trip to Mexico's Baja Peninsula to steal their truck because they wanted the tires. They then allegedly got rid of the bodies by dumping them in a well near the coast. The well was located some 4 miles from where the foreigners were killed and also contained a 4th cadaver that had been there much longer. 3 suspects are being held in connection with the case, which locals said was solved far more quickly than the disappearance of thousands of Mexicans. In international news now, the Israeli army has ordered tens of thousands of Palestinians in Gaza's southern city of Rafah to start evacuating, signaling that a long-promised ground invasion could be imminent. An army spokesman says about 100,000 people were being ordered to move to a nearby Israel-declared humanitarian zone called Muasi. He says Israel was preparing a limited-scope operation and would not say whether this was the beginning of a broader invasion of the city. The announcement complicates last-ditch efforts by international mediators, including the director of the CIA, to broker a ceasefire. Hamas and Qatar, a key mediator, have warned that invading Rafah along the border with Egypt could derail the talks, and the United States has repeatedly urged Israel against the invasion. But Israel has described Rafah as the last significant Hamas stronghold after 7 months of war, and its leaders have repeatedly said the invasion is necessary to defeat the Islamic militant group. And that's it for regional and international. Up next, sports.
For all your electrical needs, visit ABC Electrical Sales. They stock a wide variety of electrical supplies including plugs, switches, panel boards and conduits, plus energy-saving fixtures. ABC Electrical Sales stocks brands like GE, Siemens, Philips, Cutler Hammer and Allen Bradley. They also offer free island-wide delivery just to suit your needs. Visit them at Shop 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10, or call 876-754-371-4-5 or 876-754-3825-8. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business.
Is your strata filing its annual returns? In keeping with the Registration Strata Titles Act, strata corporations are required to submit an audited financial statement or a copy of its accounts, prepared in keeping with generally accepted accounting principles, signed by the chairman and at least one other member of the executive committee. This must be submitted annually to the Commission of Strata Corporations within 120 days after the end of the financial year. For more information, contact the Commission of Strata Corporations at 926-9748-9.
Nationwide 90 FM is at it again. Team Revolution will clear every hurdle and sprint to the finish line as we cover the games of the 33rd Olympiad from Paris, the city of love.
Winning by daylight and setting a world record, 9.68. The wind is okay.
Nationwide's coverage is powered by our diamond sponsor, KFC. It's finger-licking good across all locations island-wide.
In your morning sports report, 4 goals were scored on Sunday in the first leg semi-finals of the Ray and Nephew Jamaica Premier League at Sabina Park. In semi-final 1, Arnott Gardens and Cavalier played out a 1-1 draw. Jaheim Thomas gave Arnott the lead in the 40th minute. Gerald Marco Calvin equalized for Cavalier 3 minutes later. It was a similar result in semi-final 2 between Waterhouse and defending champions Mount Pleasant. In the first minute of the second half, Javane Bryan struck to give Waterhouse the lead. Mount Pleasant found the equalizer in the 73rd minute through Sue Lee McCullough. The return matches are set for May 12 at the same venue. Now, Jamaica's men's under-18 team beat Trinidad and Tobago 2-1 in the second of 2 friendlies at the UWI Captain Horace Burrell Centre of Excellence on Sunday. Salim Soanes gave the visitors the lead in the 15th minute before Glenmuir High's Arel Miller found the equalizer for the young Reggae Boys in the 38th minute. Mount Pleasant Academy's Jamari Nolan scored in the 61st minute to secure Jamaica's triumph. Assistant coach of Jamaica, Carlton Simmons, says the players showed maturity.
The boys responded very well from the first game, recognizing that it's important to not only perform but to get a result. And we're proud of their efforts.
Carlton Simmons, TNT won the first match 1-0. Jamaica's athletes failed to medal at the 2-day World Athletics Relays, which ended in the Bahamas on Sunday. Only Jamaica's men 4x100 meters relay team was able to contest the final, where they finished 7th. The USA won 4 of the 5 relays, with the other going to Botswana. However, the Jamaicans were able to secure qualification to the Paris Olympics in each event. Judean Williams, who was a member of Jamaica's sprint relay team, believes a lack of chemistry caused their poor showing.
All of us here are new. It's the first time we are working with each other, so we never know what to expect. And then after we never qualified for the finals, we were a little bit down, but then we come out here by the name of Jesus and we delivered, so we're feeling really good.
Julian Williams wrapping up your morning sports.
Nationwide 90 FM is at it again. Team Revolution will clear every hurdle and sprint to the finish line as we cover the games of the 33rd Olympiad from Paris, the city of love.
Winning by daylight and setting a world record, 9.68. The wind is okay.
Nationwide's coverage is powered by our diamond sponsor, KFC. It's finger-licking good across all locations island-wide.
In business this morning, well-known business leader P.B. Scott has been named EY Master Entrepreneur of the Year for 2023. EY is a global consulting firm. The award serves as a platform to recognize and celebrate outstanding entrepreneurs who have demonstrated exceptional leadership and innovation in their respective fields. The announcement of the award was made on Saturday evening in a ceremony at the Heights Lara. Scott's wife received the award on his behalf. EY says its recognition of Mr. Scott underscores his exemplary leadership, strategic vision, and significant contributions to business innovation and social growth in Jamaica. The firm says Scott actively engages in philanthropic initiatives through his company's foundations with focus on education, food security, and community development. EY reports that as a result of Scott's involvement, thousands have benefited from scholarships, school feeding programs, and investment in STEAM education. Scott will represent Jamaica in what is deemed the most prestigious business awards program, the World Entrepreneur of the Year, to be held in Monaco in June. Brewing giant Heineken will reopen 62 pubs that were closed in recent years and invest £39 million in refurbishing hundreds of sites across the UK. The company said the cash injection into its Star Pubs and Bars chain will create more than 1,000 new jobs. The UK pubs industry has been hard hit by closures since the COVID-19 pandemic, as cost of living pressures weighed on consumer spending. Between 2021 and 2023, pubs have closed at a rate of 500 a year. That's according to the British Beer and Pub Association. Star plans to renovate more than 600 pubs, around a quarter of the 2,400-strong chain, choosing locations it said reflect how many of its customers have cut back on how often they commute into city centres. Finally now, in foreign exchange trading this morning, the Jamaican dollar will open trading today, selling for an average $157.62 against the benchmark U.S. dollar. Against the Canadian, the Jamaican dollar will open trading this morning, selling for an average $117.77 against the Canadian. And finally, the Jamaican dollar will open trading today, selling for an average $197.64 against the British pound. That's it for business this morning.
For all your musical needs, visit the Music Mart, the most complete music store in Jamaica. Telephone 876-960-7712. The time brought to you by the Music Mart is
6:28.
A time for double up your savings. This are the boost that you've been awaiting. Put it towards the dreams you've been chasing. Double up your savings. Double up.
Save so you can win in the Jan Bank Double Up Your Savings promotion. You could be one of 5 lucky quarterly winners to walk away with double the money you put in your savings account. Conditions apply.
Double up your savings.
Check our website and social media for details. Jan Bank will help you find a way. Authorized under Section 58.3 of the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Act.
Nationwide 90 FM is at it again. Team Revolution will clear every hurdle and sprint to the finish line as we cover the games of the 33rd Olympiad from Paris, the city of love.
3 meters clear, 5 meters clear, and away he goes. He continues on his way towards another gold medal. 5 gold medals, 5 world records.
Nationwide's coverage is powered by our diamond sponsor, Fosrich, fostering rich customer service across all locations island-wide.
The Philharmonic Orchestra of Jamaica presents its annual spring concert season at the University Chapel, Uwimona, 3 nights, May 17 to 19. Hear classical favorites by Mozart, Strauss, Bizet, and the outstanding Marley Symphony. Solo performances by Rafael Salazar on clarinet and Giovanni Williams on violin. Tickets at Music Mart and Monarch Pharmacies, Sovereign, Barbican, and Tropical Plaza. Check the press and Facebook for details. The Philharmonic Orchestra of Jamaica in concert, May 17 to 19 at the University Chapel.
Hear our voice, O God, today in our prayer, and accept our thanksgiving. Father, we thank Thee for all that You have done and for what You're doing now. Oh, yeah, yeah. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restored my soul. He restored my soul. Splashing, dashing, restless sea. Never still You seem to be. Sometimes angry, sometimes sad. Sometimes a lover though You're glad. Splashing, dashing, restless sea. Never still You seem to be. Sometimes angry, sometimes sad. Sometimes a lover though You're glad. Little children love You well. Love all the wondrous tales You tell. Love to watch You come and go in the tides that heaven blow. Yet though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, 'cause Jah is with me. Thy rod and Thy staff, they comfort me. Splashing, dashing, restless sea. Never still You seem to be. Sometimes angry, sometimes sad. Sometimes a lover though You're glad.
A very good morning to you. Good morning to you. You're tuned in to Nationwide this morning. NTM, the big show. Thank you so much for coming on over and joining us for a brand new week. It is May 6th. Yeah, May 6th, 2024. Really, really happy to have all of you who have joined us on the YouTube platform and all of our listeners out there. Good morning to you. I'm Tawna Thomas.
My name is George Davis.
Hey to you, George.
Hey to you soon.
Did it rain in the city on the weekend?
Not really. What did it? Germany, it rained in this city?
It was sort of dry up here.
Like, like gotta wash your face. Nothing. Him never bathe. Him never bathe. He wash him face. He never bathe. So I think that's what we got.
Oh, it rained a lot in St. Elizabeth. And interestingly, my friends were telling me as well, this is how them put it. Them say Westmoreland a wash away.
Westmoreland washing away.
Yeah.
Westmoreland.
Yeah, that was my reaction. That was my reaction when they told me. And one of my friends who came into the parish on Friday evening, she was saying at one point she felt like turning back.
What?
Yeah, she said it was heavy. Yeah.
Wicked rain.
So and I was saying to her, I don't think that was what was the forecast was saying.
It was orange, red, yeah, hot.
Yeah, and thinking about what we're hearing from members of the tourism sector out there in the West.
Yes.
Yeah, it was interesting that she was saying to me it poured in Westmoreland on Friday. But yeah.
I think the survey would have been done before that, so
yeah,
it would
for
affect
sure.
the findings.
For sure.
I saw a name rather in the news, Bill Navis. Michael, the mayor of St. Anne's Bay. So every time I see his name, I chuckle because I remember years ago, I got a call from a resident somewhere in St. Catherine, elderly lady. So she was trying to tell me something about a story we were tracking, and she was telling me the name of the person responsible. So she said, all right, young boy, are you listening? So I said, yes. She said, all right. The man named Bell Davis. So I wrote it down. So I said, Mommy, you sure is Bell Davis? She said, yes, man. Bell Davis. You sign it down? You sign it down? I say, you sure it's not Bell Davis? She said, young man, me know this a family of 60 odd year. Me know the father and it's gone down in the history. Them name Bell Davis. Of course, it turns out that the man was Bell Davis. But the old time people, it's just like I have my auntie, who was telling me that she was talking family history one day. So she was telling me that her brother his name was Ivan No Fadigal.
What?
So I said, what do you mean? She said, Ivan No Fadigal. I said,
like that's his whole name?
Yes, his name. So I said, you mean Ivan Ho Fothergill? She said no, and she get vexed. I tell me, said, true, me I go to school, and I think me have big brain. Me I come tell her, she said she know her own brother. And her brother name Ivan No Fadigal. It turns out his name, of course, was Ivanhoe Fothergill.
I've heard those. Yeah. But here's an even simpler one. Is that our editor Kimon there? That's not Kimon. But they think Kimon's last name is Thomas.
Oh yeah? Yeah, because that's what's written on the intercom thing when you call her. Is Kimon Thomas?
Yeah, Thomas. And sometimes people mix up mine too. Not in here, of course, but people think I'm Thompson.
Yeah, Thomas, right?
Yes, and I know it's Thomas.
Thomas.
So it was funny to see the mix-up Kimons as well.
Yeah.
It's Kimon Thompson, not Kimon Thomas.
Yeah, and please don't say Thompson, okay?
Please do not
don't say
Thompson and Thomas.
Yes, or assessor thumbs.
Or assessor thumbs. H is silent.
Yeah, so here's the thing. We've been talking since last week about school violence. And I've had a little think, and I've concluded that there are no more incidents of school violence than when I was in school. That's my conclusion. I left high school in 99. Which year you born again? 93.
93.
93. I did young though, so
yes.
I did young. Yeah. I don't think that by the time you left high school, which would have been about when?
2012?
2012. You went to sixth form at Hampton, right? So by the time you left, I don't think there were more incidents of school violence then than there are now. Obviously. Because of the smartphone and the ability to capture and the ability to transmit videos captured. People will see things. People who never saw fights like the ones they see on video, they never saw that in their school environment. They're going to be alarmed that, children are fighting like this. I remember once going home from the morning shift and a girl, in my class was in a fight with two boys. One girl, two boys. She beat them up. It wasn't it was a serious, full-blown fight. I think she may have bit a piece of one's ear off. It was how bad it was, yes. And of course, for the rest of the time in school, nobody even said to that girl because she had the reputation from then that, she was fearsome, yeah. And I can just imagine if that fight was caught on camera, what people would say. So I say that there aren't more incidents of the kind we've seen on video. But the difference, of course, is that they're captured on video. That's one. I don't think that parenting is worse now than before. Maybe in a long era. But certainly in my time, the lack of proper parenting, I believe, is the same as now. Parents grazing their children in a manner that would not be approved of by any sensible person. Parents allowing their children to smoke, fathers building spliffs given to their children in infant school. I've seen that. Mother with the rum and the whatever in the cup and our daughter drinking it, our son drinking it. I saw those things. Those things happen now. It's not different. I didn't think so then. Certainly don't think so now. That the government in office is responsible for children who are maladjusted, don't have the benefit of proper parenting, who act out in schools. The automatic thing, what is the government doing about it? Two boys fight. What is the government doing to stop these boys from fighting? One gang attacks a boy, attacks a girl. What is the government doing about it? Two gangs meet and have a fight. What is the government doing about it? It's the same question that could reasonably be asked of pick any government in our independent history. You could ask that question of them because those things happened then. I saw it happen, and the people who went to high school before me said, oh yeah, I remember the time when so on. So it happened before. Obviously what's different is the technology and how the technology shapes behavior, shapes expectation, and shapes socialization. That's the big difference. I'm talking administrators and those of us who mean the country well, and I'll tell you why I phrase it that way shortly. We have not made the adjustment that technology has made. In other words, we are still hoping to solve the problems, seeking to make the interventions, say for instance, in the 1980s, 1990s kind of way, when the technology and the influence that it has on the children is 2024. Do you see the difference? Obviously. Now, I say that not everybody means the country well, because it is a fact, Tawna Thomas, that as people get more successful, they become more selfish. In the average gated community, anywhere in Jamaica, but let's do the corporate area. The people live there. You might see a neighbor and say hi, but that's it. There's no communal sharing. There is no real sense of community. You all know that you live in your unit and you're all right. Your neighbor over there, so them all right, and you go about your business. You're in a business about nothing. And as I said last week, those who are most comfortable, careless about politics, they are the ones who say them not vote because they don't need to. What can MP give me? And even so, I was in class with that PNP man or in class with that JLP lady. So if I need a favor, I can call either of them and get it. And I don't need to vote for that because we were batchmates at UTEC, at UE, at NC, wherever it is. This selfishness has robbed society of one of the main structures that served as a protective barrier against maladaptive behavior, against the influence that the technology has on children and the rampant nature of misbehavior. If that barrier in society, that structure was working where people were not selfish but selfless and believed in community and believed in nationhood, that could have helped to ameliorate the problem that we think is getting worse, but it's actually not worse, but it's still a problem nonetheless. The fact is, we have a situation where because of the technology, there is no more distance or separation between teachers and students. Because guess what? A student makes a video and puts it on TikTok, dancing to the latest dancehall hit. She sees her teacher on TikTok in a pair of shorts, tight, winding up to the same song on TikTok. When you go and you sit in front of that teacher, what level of separation is there? That was at the basis of the respect that you had for your teachers at Hampton and your prep school. It was the basis of the respect that I had for my teachers at my high schools and at primary school because of this level of separation. I've never seen any of my teachers in a pair of shorts. No, there are, I'm sure, hundreds of videos of people who say they are teachers. And when the videos start, the first thing you see is their rear because they're walking for you to see. Look at me in my pants, look at me in my shorts, look at me in my skirt, look at how tight it is, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm vibing with the children and I'm coming down to their level to be one of them. There is a limit that you have to put on that. No, I'm not saying teachers shouldn't get close to their students because teachers have done that over time, and I'm not blaming teachers here. We'd need a longer segment to talk about everybody who is failing. I've spoken to society failing. Now I'm telling you that because of this familiarity that these children have with the teachers as well, in this broken society, this broken system, that is exacerbating a problem that has been with us for generations and seems worse now because we can film everything and put it on social media. So we have to start by caring. Those of us who are doing well, those of us who have done well, we need to care for society. You can't say you're no business. You can't wind up yourself in your car, drive out, you're no business about nothing. Me and my people, them all right, me no business about nothing. So what of the environment that your children are in? At home, we lock off ourselves. You pass your neighbor up on the doorstep, you probably don't wave, you don't say hi, you don't say nothing. That's a part of the decline in society. The decline in society is why we have so many of the problems we have being exacerbated. Teachers on the same platform as the students they teach, on the same platform as children, doing the same things that the children are doing. It has to stop. But if you rule that teachers shouldn't use social media this way, you're going to hear say freedom of expression, free speech, freedom to do this, freedom to do that, and you're putting a crimp on freedoms and you shouldn't do this and blah, 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 blah. Yeah? I'm just saying that we have everything, every ingredient we need to begin to solve these problems and prevent them exacerbating. We have all of the ingredients. But we need to clean up the ingredients. We in society need to do more. We need to be more responsible. People say a village raised a child back then and you could discipline somebody else's child. You could, but guess what? Nowadays, the way people are wanting to discipline your children, you will say, no, you can't call my daughter dirty girl. Or you call my son dirty boy and all them things, box down and kick. No. But you will say, no, but you might go on. No, but that's not how you do it. So you see, society and the reaction to disciplining, the reaction to enforcing order, the way you exert your adulthood or your seniority, there is a responsible way to do that. Everybody just no business. Everybody no care. Everybody tunnel focused. Everybody business only with themselves. And we leave the rest to rot and then wonder why the rot reaches us. You know that's why? Because you know business. Then if you have 10 people in our room, Tana, and the 10 of them no business, what's going to happen? Yeah? And I'm just saying, this thing, teachers, it's that little word to you. You should have degrees of separation between yourself and your students. You and the girls in your class are not size. The boys shouldn't know what you look like certain way because you and them are not size either. It starts with incremental movement in certain important areas. Little, and we can make this better. Simple as that.
It's This Morning on Nationwide 90 FM. The time is
6:50.
Outperform, outlast. With top performance. Jackama. Reliable, full stop, not comma. We have the expertise for drilling and demolition. We have the power tools for plumbers and electrician. Fancy select tools, free parts and free repairs. Free parts, free repairs. 2 to 3 years. Hilton, available at Delta Supply, 106 Hagley Park Road. Call us at 876-302-61124. Delta Supply, we service what we sell.
This Mother's Day, you have even more reasons to shower mom with love. Use your Sagicor Bank credit card to get her something special, and you could win up to $200,000 cash back. The more you spend on mom, the more chances you get to win. Make this Mother's Day a win-win. Use your Sagicor Bank credit card to show mom some love, and you could win up to $200,000 cash back. Sagicor Bank, the best rewards ever. Conditions apply. Authorized under Section 58.3 of the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Act.
Street Smart and the JUTC Morning Commute is brought to you by JUTC, your route to excellence.
$6:51, time now to make our first check-in with our friend on the streets, the man, the myth, the legend, Ludlow McLean from the El Shaddai Taxi Company. Morning, Ludlow.
Morning, George, and carefully. Morning, George. Morning, Don. E.T.
Hey, to you, Ludlow.
Sir.
In a nutshell, what you're saying is so true. However, if you talk to the kids, they say, oh, those were ancient days.
Really?
Yes, just as though the music that you play sometimes, it's ancient music that you play.
Well, guess what, Ludlow? As Jermaine is telling me, they'll say so no, but a couple of years when they are the parents, different thing.
Right. And just a quick one, Jamaicans again, the old people. Do you remember this cricketer called Keith Atherton?
Yeah, man.
They couldn't pronounce his name, so they said Keith Atherton.
Absolutely right. I'll tell you another story about that when we have time about Appleton one morning, yeah?
Yes, but for the time being, Motor is good morning to all our listeners and all our YouTubers and social media, the different platforms. And the situation out of Portmore, you remember on a Monday morning, things really get busy. So if you're leaving Hillshire on that main road, it's steady progress. But as you get closer to that Greater Nazareth intersection, you're going to find the traffic. Why? Vehicles coming from different areas. They're coming from the Greater, and they're coming from out of the Greater Portmore, 3 East, 3 West, all of these areas. and they're also coming from Brayton Parkway. So that area is really congested now. If you're going on the Port Anderson Road, however, taking that roundabout in the vicinity of the old Forum Hotel, it's steady progress, but as they make your way to the school, because it can build up there, lots of traffic exiting Portsmouth to get onto the Mandela. On the other side, the Municipal Boulevard side, we call it I-95, it's the same thing, traffic coming from Lake Penn area, and on the Dyke Road, these areas are building as they make your way to exit onto the Mandela Highway. So Mandela, westbound, no problem. Eastbound, has traffic flowing. It's flowing towards 6 miles. Our first report for the morning, as usual, just be careful while you make your way to work or wherever you're going. So until about 7:15, 7:18, it's back to you, George.
Thank you, Ludlow. Ludlow McLean there from the El Shaddai Taxi Company. The word of the day lies in wait.
Street Smart and the JUTC Morning Commute was brought to you by JUTC, your route to excellence.
Your word of the day, spelled P-I-S-C-I-N-E, spelled P-I-S-C-I-N-E.
Piscine. Piscine. Piscine.
Your word of the day is pronounced piscine. It's an adjective, a descriptive word. Piscine, meaning of, relating to, or resembling a fish or fishes. Piscine is your word of the day. First recorded around 1790. To use it in a sentence. As an avid swimmer, she felt a deep connection to the piscine world beneath the ocean's surface. Another for you. The dancer's elegant movements were reminiscent of a piscine creature gracefully gliding through water. Your word of the day, piscine, spelled P-I-S-C-I-N-E, meaning of, relating to, or resembling a fish or fishes.
So there was a horse that came on as park called Piscean Rocket.
Mm-hmm.
And I said to myself, so why do you want to never just say Piscean Rocket and don't a theme horse? Yeah, man, you can name it whatever you want to name it, a theme horse.
Indeed. I'm going to go to our features at the top of the hour of the news.
Today on Living Well, trans fat. I am sure that almost everyone at some point in their adult life have heard this word trans fat. You have heard that it is bad for you, and you've heard to buy products that are zero trans fat. Today we're going to find out what trans fat is, and is there really such a thing as zero trans fat? Trans fats, also known as trans-unsaturated fatty acids and trans fatty acids, are a type of unsaturated fat. They're not widely available from natural sources, but have been industrially produced on a large scale from vegetable fats since midway through the 20th century. They are commonly used in margarine, snack foods, and commercially baked or fried foods, and have been linked to increased risk of coronary heart disease, which is the most common cause of mortality worldwide. What is the chemical structure of trans fat? On a molecular level, all fats are made of long hydrocarbon chains. The bonds between each carbon atom can either be singular or double, known as saturated and unsaturated respectively. Unsaturated fatty acids can either have a cis or a trans configuration, which relates to the positioning of the atoms around the double bonds and affects the properties of the fat. In nature, only cis fat is abundant, whereas trans fat may be present in commercially produced fats. This occurs when cis unsaturated fats are hydrogenated to remove the double bonds and become saturated fats with more favorable properties. However, some cis bonds are converted to trans bonds. Small amounts of trans fats can be found in nature as vacinyl and conjugated linoleal, which are often present in meat and dairy products. However, trans fats that occur naturally are seen separately to those produced artificially in commercial processes, and the health effects of natural trans fats have yet to be established. Trans fats offer no health benefits whatsoever and is only used to make foods more solid and in some cases increase shelf life. Many processed foods will say that they have zero trans fats. However, this is not the case. Unfortunately, even here in Jamaica, the standard of manufacturing processed foods that have trans fats is based on U.S. standards. This will also include imported processed foods. Food processing standards for additives such as trans fats are set by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration. The standards set say that any food that has 0.5% trans fat per serving can be considered as having zero trans fat. However, here is the problem. If a food item has, say, 7 servings, then you will exceed the 2.5% recommended threshold for trans fat consumption. If you do this week in and week out, you are headed for trouble. You should avoid all processed food, and if you cannot for whatever reason, then read your labels and limit your servings. Eating a fresh whole food diet is the only way to optimize your nutrition and avoid the pitfalls of processed foods. That's Living Well for today. Tune in next time for one of the main causes of hip pain.
Fearless and fair, Nationwide 90 FM.
Have you ever witnessed your little one kicking and screaming in their sleep and nothing you do will comfort them? Hi, I'm Tana, and these are your lifestyle pages. These episodes are known as night terrors. Children are partial awake with behaviors such as screaming, kicking, and panicking. And it usually lasts for about 10 to 30 minutes. Here's what you should look for. Your child is frightened but can't be awakened or comforted. Your child's eyes are wide open, but he or she doesn't know you're there. Your child often does not remember the episode in the morning. Stay tuned to find out what you should do if your child is experiencing night terrors. I'm Tana, and those were your lifestyle pages.
Nationwide 90 FM, continuing the tradition of fair, fearless, and factual reporting.
From Negril Point to Morant Bay, a little kindness can go a far way. The time by the Jamaica Information Service is...
News time, 7 o'clock.
If you need to build it, plumb it, weld it, pave it, or power it, National Supply has it. Get the best brands for the job at Jamaica's Industrial Hardware Superstore, Kingston Normal Bay. The temperature by National Supply is...
27 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 26 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay.
The most credible news in the morning. The news at 7 on Nationwide 90 FM.
Coming up in the news this morning, Monday, May 6, 2024, JPS says it has a contingency plan in place after being put on 72-hour strike notice. Negril Chamber of Commerce to release data today on the impact of the lack of water on tourism in the resort town. Suspected mastermind killed and 3 suspects are in custody as police probe spate of robberies at fast food franchises in the corporate area. And in international news, Israeli army tells Palestinians to evacuate parts of Rafah ahead of an expected assault.
If it's news, it's got to be Nationwide 90 FM.
Now to the details. The Jamaica Public Service Company, JPS, says a contingency plan is in place to minimize any potential impact on service delivery following a 72-hour strike notice served on the company on Sunday. The strike notice was served by the National Workers Union NWU on behalf of about 30 JPS workers. The matter concerns the alleged failure by the JPS to convert the status of the employees from contract to permanent workers. In a statement on Sunday, JPS said a meeting will be held at the Ministry of Labour on Monday to address the matter. JPS says the conversions under the agreement are being done over a 3-year period starting in 2023 and are on track for completion by 2025. The company says it's anticipating that the temporary breakdown in conversation with the NWU will be resolved quickly and that the outcome will be satisfactory for all concerned. Meanwhile, General Secretary of the Union of Clerical, Administrative and Supervisory Employees, UCASE, John Levy, says he hopes the matter can be resolved without the need for intervention by the Industrial Disputes Tribunal, the IDT.
We do want to urge the company to act quickly and to engage the parties and to avoid, disruptions that can be avoided if we just do what we agree to do and move the process forward. We do have some concerns ourselves and we believe that the company should do the right thing and to act quickly and act objectively and let us resolve this matter. That has been going on for quite a while. Employees who have been here 10, 15 years on these fixed-term contracts, losing out on a lot of benefits, still at the forefront, the brunt of a lot of activities.
Mr. Levy says a move to the IDT will further delay the process of transition for the workers.
Moving to the Ministry of Labour sets the stage for trying to get to the IDT. All of us know by now that trying to get to the IDT is not a signal that you want to resolve a matter quickly, and it is going to keep the workers out there for even a very longer period of time. So I would urge the company not to try to use that strategy to try to get to the ministry, to get to the IDT. Right? They need to share that.
John Levy, General Secretary of UCASE. Tourism stakeholders in Negril have called a meeting for Monday where they'll discuss the level of fallout from the dry spell that has gripped the resort town for the past 5 months. Chairman of the Negril chapter of the Jamaica Hotel and Tourist Association, Karen Lanigan, says polls were taken between April 24 and May 1 to gauge the impact of the water crisis.
The 2 polls were taken, one for the tourism workers of Negril and the other for the accommodation sector. Questions were being asked about the water crisis, and GHTA wanted to have a gauge on the opinions of the community and the sector in Negril and its surrounding areas.
Karen Lanigan, chairman of the Negril chapter of the GHTA. A character witness for murder accused Dwayne Pink described him as a kind and a caring person. Pink is one of 4 men charged with the murder and the conspiracy to murder of businesswoman Simone Campbell Collymore and her taxi driver Winston Walters. The pair was shot and killed on Stanley Terrace in Red Hills, St. Andrew on January 2, 2018. Robbie and Williams reports.
Dwayne Pink is charged with murder and conspiracy to murder. On Friday in the Supreme Court, a character witness testified that, to her knowledge, Pink is the opposite of a murderer. The witness said Pink would visit his grandmother for the holidays in the community where she resides. She conceded that she does not know any of Pink's friends. She testified that upon hearing the news of Pink's alleged association with the murders of Simone Campbell Collymore and her taxi driver Winston Walters, she was shocked and devastated. The witness said she didn't know Pink to be the type of person who would commit such a crime. She said she knew Pink to be a kind man. In an unsworn statement from the dock, Pink declared his innocence. He said that he had no involvement in the double murder. Pink is jointly charged with Simone's husband, Omar Collymore, who's accused of orchestrating the killing, and 2 others, Michael Adams and Shaquila Edwards. The court will hear closing arguments when the trial resumes on Monday morning at 10. Robeanne Williams for Nationwide News.
The police have made a major breakthrough into the investigation into a string of robberies targeting fast food franchises in sections of the corporate area. Nationwide News understands that Burger King, Popeyes, KFC, and the Chicken and Things are among the restaurants that have been hit. A man believed to be the mastermind behind the spate of robberies was shot and killed during a shooting incident in downtown Kingston approximately 2 weeks ago. The deceased has been identified as Stafford Brown. Head of the St. Andrew Central Police Division, Senior Superintendent Marlon Nesbeth, says 3 people are in custody in relation to the robberies.
Since the latter part of last year, corporate area police divisions have gotten reports of robberies committed against fast food franchises. The police responding to these over time have made some inroads into the incidents, and presently 4 persons as perpetrators have been impacted. The alleged mastermind to these incidents, one Stafford Brown, was shot and injured and subsequently died in hospital. The 3 other persons are in custody and are expected to face the courts in regards to these robberies.
SSP Nesbeth says the investigation has revealed that criminal gangs are colluding to rob fast food restaurants.
What we have picked up, which is significant, is that there is a connection across spaces in corporate area, more so the Kingston Western Belt, regarding criminal persons banding together across gangs to carry out these activities. And the process around the investigations are going smoothly to the extent that we have a joint up effort across law enforcement to bring further closure to this matter and favorable results, as we seek to pursue other persons who we believe are involved in it.
SSP Marlon Nesbeth, head of the St. Andrews Central Police Division. Meanwhile, SSP Nesbeth says the police will continue to work with the business community to minimize or suppress incidents of robbery.
The fact is, our impact should see a lessening of these type of activities based on the persons who are involved and who are at this time impacted, and as we continue to pursue others. The franchises themselves, we have met with security persons connected to them, and there are some amount of target hardening efforts that should help to prevent this type of activities going forward. So we will continue to work with the partners around this to ensure that this is eradicated or minimized significantly in the future.
SSP Marlon Nesbeth, head of the St. Andrews Central Police Division. A 35-year-old shopkeeper from Catherine Hall, Montego Bay in St. James is believed to have committed suicide on the grounds of the Catherine Hall Primary School on the weekend. The deceased is Andre Nicholson. The police report that Nicholson was last seen by a security guard on the school compound around 9:50 p.m. on Saturday, May 4. They say the same guard discovered Nicholson's body in the grades 5 and 6 female bathroom in the afternoon on Sunday. He was lying on his right side in a pool of blood with a gunshot wound to the right side of his head, and he was clutching a Glock 19 pistol. Police recovered a spent shell and 2 bullet fragments from the scene. They say the gun, with its serial number intact, contained 14 live rounds. The firearm was not registered to Nicholson and is not in the database of the Firearm Licensing Authority. Nicholson was reportedly experiencing financial difficulties and had expressed suicidal thoughts. Executive Chairman of the Caribbean Community of Retired Persons, CCRP, Jean Lowry Chin, is calling for greater collaboration among stakeholders to protect the most vulnerable members of the society. The call follows the brutal murder of an 80-year-old woman from Spring Garden, Bamboo, St. Anne last Wednesday. The woman, Sylvia Barrett, was found with her hands and feet bound inside her burning house. Mrs. Lowry Chin is condemning the killing.
We were outraged. We were devastated when we heard the news of this 80-year-old matriarch who was so brutally killed. When you hear the interviews with her neighbor, you realize what a valued citizen of that community she was. And it is really distressing, and it is time that we focus on the safety and the protection of our senior citizens. Many of them are living alone. As you know, several of them have their children living abroad. Their children care for them and send them funds and so on, but they're all by themselves and they're very vulnerable.
Mrs. Lowry Chin says there needs to be an immediate concerted effort by community members, families and the churches to improve the safety and the protection of the elderly.
Community and the church needs to step in. And I know there are kind neighbors, there are good church members, but there now needs to be a concerted effort. We have also suggested that we need the Jamaica Fire Brigade on board to help to guide our citizens for fire safety, especially senior citizens and their neighbors, and the neighborhood watch. So we are hoping that the neighborhood watch division of the Jamaica Constabulary Force and that the Jamaica Fire Brigade and church community will have a more cohesive plan to protect our elderly, especially those who are living alone.
Jean Lowry Chin, Executive Chairman of the Caribbean Community of Retired Persons, CCRP. President-elect of the Jamaica Association of Guidance Counselors in Education, Leighton Campbell, is calling on parents to show more interest in the development of their children. His concern follows a number of violent incidents seen in schools. Speaking recently on Nationwide at 5, Mr. Campbell says guidance counselors alone won't solve the problem.
If there's no help and if there's no involvement of parents and increased involvement of parents, then the work of the guidance counselors and any other individual in any profession who try to help our students to become better individuals will not yield the kind of results that we need. But definitely, parents must be involved from the very get-go. We have heard that we need more parents to be at PTA meetings, but it's more than just being at PTA meetings. Show a little bit more interest in their children. Many children go home from school and their parents may not even spend 10 minutes with them to talk with them to find out how was school today? How are you? Were you given an assignment? What is happening with you?
Mr. Campbell acknowledges that economic challenges means both parents spend more time outside the home trying to make ends meet.
I grew up with my mother being home. My father would have been the breadwinner. In today's society, primarily, both parents are breadwinners because they're trying to make all ends meet. And then when the child comes home, there may be a grandparent, there may be an aunt or uncle or a bigger sibling who is left to parent this child. And sometimes they are not able to do so. And sometimes the children do not even show them that kind of regard as they would show rather to their parents. So it is much more difficult for both children and for parents and, of course, for those of us who are in the classroom.
Leighton Campbell, President-elect of the Jamaica Association of Guidance Counselors in Education. Relatives have identified 3 bodies found in a well as those of 2 Australian surfers and 1 American who went missing last weekend in Mexico. Baja California state prosecutors said the relatives had viewed the corpses recovered from a remote well about 50 feet deep and recognized them as their loved ones. Thieves apparently killed the 3 who were on a surfing trip to Mexico's Baja Peninsula to steal their truck because they wanted the tires. They then allegedly got rid of the bodies by dumping them in a well near the coast. The well was located 4 miles from where the foreigners were killed and also contained a 4th cadaver that had been there much longer. 3 suspects are being held in connection with the case, which locals said was solved far more quickly than the disappearance of thousands of Mexicans. Further afield, the Israeli army has ordered tens of thousands of Palestinians in Gaza's southern city of Rafah to start evacuating, signaling that a long-promised ground invasion could be imminent. An army spokesman says about 100,000 people were being ordered to move to a nearby Israel-declared humanitarian zone called Mawasi. He says Israel was preparing a limited-scope operation and would not say whether this was the beginning of a broader invasion of the city. The announcement complicates last-ditch efforts by international mediators, including the CIA, to broker a ceasefire. Hamas and Qatar, a key mediator, have warned that invading Rafah along the border with Egypt could derail the talks, and the United States has repeatedly urged Israel against the invasion. But Israel has described Rafah as the last significant Hamas stronghold after 7 months of war, and its leaders have repeatedly said the invasion is necessary to defeat the Islamic militant group. That's the news.
Sign up for the JN Money Card. It's safe, convenient, and free. The time by JN Money is
7:16.
Employers, mark your calendars. The annual Employers Return, SO2, originally due March 31, 2024, is now due on April 2, 2024. File online at jamaicatax.gov.jm. Contact 888-TAX-HELP for more assistance. The temperature by Tax Administration Jamaica, working together to serve you even better, is
29 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 26 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay.
Nationwide 90 FM is at it again. Team Revolution will clear every hurdle and sprint to the finish line as we cover the games of the 33rd Olympiad from Paris, the city of love.
Winning by daylight and setting a world record, 9.68. The wind is okay.
Nationwide's coverage is powered by our diamond sponsor, KFC. It's finger-licking good across all locations island-wide.
More savings, more choices. Get active with Active Home Center. The one-stop shop for everything for your home. We have more savings, more choices, unbelievable prices. Wide selection with the latest style. The kitchen, bathroom, right down to the top. Buy the hottest items on spot, don't miss out. Best options under one roof, no doubt. More savings. more choices. Visit us in store or online at www.activehomecenter.com. We have more savings, more choices.
Street Smart and the JUTC Morning Commute is brought to you by JUTC, your route to excellence.
Ludlow McLean and the El Shaddai Taxi Company linking up with Street Smarts 2. Good morning, Ludlow.
Good morning, George. Bright and sunny morning. It's really bright. I hardly seen a cloud. If there's any, maybe some serious, but by and large, it's really bright and sunny. And an excellent morning. If it was a game of cricket, fast bowlers would have trouble getting the ball to swing because there's not much heavy clouds to get that ball to swing in the atmosphere. Anyway, the situation though, there's an accident, by the way, on the Portmore leg, the highway, the east-west highway, and it is like once you leave the toll, you're gonna find out you're gonna wonder what's happening. There's actually a backup of traffic there, leaving the toll, heading towards Marcus Garvey Drive. A vehicle ran into the median that's on the right-hand side, and this is on the east side. I said, so that's causing some problem there. I'm not so sure what is the cause, but the motors that uses the toll, I don't think they drive properly. Most of them, a few of them, they swing left, right, swing left, and maybe you might be driving and somebody swings in front of you and try to avoid an accident, and maybe this is a consequence. But on the toll, there's an accident. The car, though, not sure if there are any injuries or fatalities, but you're going to have some challenges trying to get onto Marcus Garvey Drive. In the meantime, that area also has traffic. Marcus Garvey Drive busy from the 3 miles area, heading to downtown, 3 miles, heading towards Hagley Park Road, steady progress until you get up to Eastwood Park Road. Waltham and the Hagley intersection, quite busy because a lot of traffic is coming from Waltham Park Road, intersect there. When you go further along Waltham Park Road, you're going to have challenges with potholes and all of that, heading towards Cannington Road. Harbour Tree Square, Crossroads, not Eastwood Park Road, Tudor One Boulevard, Retirement Road, all these areas are carrying traffic. Caledonia Road, plenty of traffic. And those of you who are on the eastern side, as you get to the Harbour View there by the roundabout, that's still going to have some traffic there. But it's good going on the westbound side along Sir Floresdale Glasspool Highway. So be careful, motorists, as you try to make your way to your various destinations. So a lot of cars on the road, and you just have to be careful. It's over to you, George.
Thank you, Ludlow. Ludlow McLean there with the El Shaddai Taxi Company. Up next, the front page.
Street Smart and the JUTC Morning Commute was brought to you by JUTC, your route to excellence.
Front Page is brought to you today by ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business. For all your electrical needs, visit ABC Electrical Sales. They stock a wide variety of electrical supplies, including plugs, switches, panel boards, and conduits, plus energy-saving fixtures. ABC Electrical Sales stocks brands like GE, Siemens, Philips, Cutler Hammer, and Allen Bradley. They also offer free island-wide delivery just to suit your needs. Visit them at Shop 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10, or call 876-754-3714-5 or 876-754-3825-8. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business.
Welcome back to Nationwide this morning. You're now tuned into our discussion segment, The Front Page. Heading to the St. Elizabeth Police Division, the St. Elizabeth Police, They're seeking the public's assistance in locating 3 wanted men and 5 persons of interest. In a release on Friday, head of the St. Elizabeth Police Division, Acting Superintendent Coleridge Minto, asked the men to make themselves available by 2 p.m. on Saturday. The wanted men are Ian Brown, otherwise called Boom June, of Huntley Castle District, Newmarket, St. Elizabeth, wanted for grievous sexual assault; Lincoln Leash Farquharson of Mount Pleasant District, Balaclava, St. Elizabeth, wanted for rape and grievous sexual assault; and Merrick Edwards of Prospect District, Giddy Hall, St. Elizabeth, wanted for rape and grievous sexual assault.
The persons of interest are Ricardo Christopher Orlando Foster. Let me go again. Ricardo Christopher Orlando Foster, O.C. Richie Feelings, and Haitian. He's 34 years old, of Galetown, Goshen District in St. Elizabeth. He is wanted for several robberies and shootings in the parish. Llewellyn Gordon, otherwise called Zoogie, of Roseberry District, Malvern in St. Elizabeth. He is wanted, he's a person of interest in relation to robberies and break-ins in St. Elizabeth. Jerome Plummer, O.C. Fargo of Rosebery District, St. Elizabeth, person of interest in relation to robberies and break-ins in the parish. Rommel Bromfield, O.C. Ray of Kinnaul District, Malvern in St. Elizabeth. He's a person of interest in relation to robberies and break-ins. And Dewar Archibald, no fixed address, but he frequents Park District in St. Elizabeth, Drax Hall in St. Anne, and Mandeville in Manchester. He's a person of interest in relation to break-ins and robberies in the parish. For an update, we're being joined by head of the St. Elizabeth Police, Acting Superintendent Coleridge Minto. Good morning, sir.
Good morning to you, sir and ma'am, and good morning to your listeners.
Right. So these 8 individuals now, you put this notice out a couple days ago. Any response?
Right. Thank you, and I appreciate you listing and calling out their names. So in the interest of time, I'll just share with you that we have heard from some of them. In fact, 3 of them have since surrendered to the police between Saturday and Sunday. Those that are now in our custody, Ricardo Foster, O.C. Richie, Asian, he came in on Sunday. Llewellyn Gordon, he came in on Sunday. And Jerome Plummer, he came in on Saturday. So those 3 are now in custody, and they'll be questioned by our detectives later on today. I want to appeal to the other persons to contact an attorney or a justice of the peace and to make themselves available and turn themselves into the police.
So 3 of the 5 persons of interest are in, none of the wanted men?
None of the wanted persons have surrendered yet.
I notice that for Ricardo Christopher Orlando Foster, O.C. Richie Feelings, or Haitian, one of the 3 who is in. So he's wanted for robberies and shootings in St. Elizabeth. So too is Llewellyn Gordon and Jerome Plummer. Is it that those 3 men are part of a ring, they are part of a gang, or is just coincidence?
Right. So let's be clear in terms of not saying that they're wanted,
yes,
but they are persons of interest. There's a distinction between the 2. And not able to say that they're connected to any gang or connected together. St. Elizabeth has, as you perhaps would have seen in even recent viral videos, a number of robberies, particularly at our bars. And there are a number of persons that we believe can assist us with our investigations. And so we have listed them to come in to talk with them, and then we see where the investigation goes from there.
And have the police been able to pick up, Acting Superintendent, if there are any coordinated activities within the parish, coordinated robberies, or all of these just isolated incidents?
Well, for sure, crime generally is organized, and certainly we are having that in St. Elizabeth. We do have connections between persons who are operating in our space with our neighboring divisions, particularly Clarendon, Manchester. And so we see those kind of coordination taking place. And there is, in fact, coordination. Can't link these 3 persons that I named to say they're in the same grouping. That's not what we're saying. But we have a number of robberies and criminal activities that have taken place that is, in fact, organized and involve persons that are from outside of the borders of St. Elizabeth.
And have the police in recent months, March, April, been able to put any significant dent on what has been happening? I refer back to as well the incident which happened in Gosmond.
Right. So the Grosman incident is one 2 weekends ago. That incident led to one man being fatally shot. And I use this medium, and thank you for the opportunity to speak to people in the parish and across Jamaica to warn them not to engage the police, not to challenge us. If they're confronted, they're to surrender, get an attorney and have their case in a court of law. We had a fatal shooting. A firearm was recovered. Another man was arrested and has since been charged with several accounts of robberies. And he also went on an identification parade regarding other robberies. So we are making some headways. There are still some other players that we're looking for. That particular robbery that he was charged for, there were 5 men involved in the robbery out in Goshen. And so there are still some other persons connected to that particular case. There are other cases that we're treating with in the parish that we're seeking some persons.
Mm-hmm. On the matter now, I realize that the 3 wanted persons that the St. Elizabeth police have listed are all wanted for sexual offenses. Rape, grievous sexual assault. Is it that a lot of these cases are coming to the desk of the St. Elizabeth police, matters having to do with sexual assault?
I don't want to say a lot of them coming to the police. Persons are certainly reporting, and we, in fact, encourage the report of sexual offenses. We have listed persons for, not necessarily these, I don't have the dates for the respective offenses for these, but even offenses that date back prior to 2024. So when we list persons, it is that the rape or the grievous sexual assault could have taken place a year or 2 or before. There's no static bar. So we are clearing up a number of these cases, and St. Elizabeth does have almost 100% clear-up rate in terms of rape. And usually the persons who are the perpetrators are known to the victims, and so it's a matter for the police now to do our job in finding them. And so that is why we put out these persons. When we are unable to find them at the addresses or the locations that we have, then we invite them to come in. And so we have reports, and we are pursuing every report, and we in fact encourage our citizens to report sexual offenses. One of those cases that we take very seriously, and we're not allowing them to be pushed under our carpet.
On the point of things to take seriously, Prady and larceny, but that's after the break, Mr. Minter. Stay with us.
Give up every illegal gun. Call the police at 119 or Crime Stop at 311. The time by the Ministry of National Security is
7:31.
For all your electrical needs, visit ABC Electrical Sales. They stock a wide variety of electrical supplies, including plugs, switches, panel boards, and conduits, plus energy-saving fixtures. ABC Electrical Sales stocks brands like GE, Siemens, Philips, Cutler Hammer, and Allen Bradley. They also offer free island-wide delivery just to suit your needs. Visit them at Shop 8, Hagley Park Plaza, Kingston 10, or call 876-754-3714-5 or 876-754-3825-8. ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business.
Touching lives every day, so many different ways, a part of all you do. Sagicor will make you feel secure, reaching out for more, we'll always see you through. Reach for more, whatever you're dreaming, whatever your goals, will help you achieve them. You're never alone. Taking care of today's needs, take care of tomorrow. tomorrow's dreams. Every day helping you succeed. That's what Sagicor means. Today's needs, tomorrow's dreams. Sagicor.
Man in charge of the St. Elizabeth Police Division, Acting Superintendent Coleridge Minto, is our guest this morning. So the issue of predial larceny, Mr. Minto, we know that St. Elizabeth farmers have had a tough time, and even before you, before you came, it was a serious problem. I remember we carried a story on about how many goats were stolen from a farmer, and the thief was convicted, and the sentence was ridiculous. Of course, not having anything to do with the police because they did their investigative work, but the judge saw it in her wisdom to impose a sentence that had the country talking about the nature of the sentence. In terms of what you've been able to do in concert with your team, Mr. Minto, how have you put a dent in what seemed to be a rampant practice in St. Elizabeth, walking around stealing people's animals?
Well, just to say that the case you reference actually was in my time, and I really want to commend the work of the police. One of the things that I did very early, as I studied the parish in terms of not only the crime data, the demographics, and understanding what drives St. Elizabeth, especially the economic aspect of it. And you're correct that farming and St. Elizabeth is in fact known as the breadbasket parish. And so we re-established a predial larceny unit led by Sergeant Holness, who was doing an excellent job with his team. That case was one of the cases that was dealt with by the unit, and the matter went to court. Since the establishment of that unit in July of 2023, a number of arrests have been made, a number of persons have been convicted. I'll share with you that as recent as, and some of these don't necessarily get highlighted, but as recent as Friday during our operation, 8 goats were recovered in the Unity Vale district, that's in the Malvern space. 1 person was arrested in that operation. The week before, 2 weeks before, the 17th of April, an 800-pound bull was recovered in the Parity area. 2 persons taken into custody, and we are still searching for a 3rd suspect in that matter. So, sometimes the matters don't get highlighted, and there are, in fact, other cases we know where we have not yet recovered the animals. And so it is still an issue for us, but we are putting as much resources as we can. We're working with our farmers. We're working with other representatives and state agencies to be able to, have a relatively low predial larceny rate. But it is still very high on our agenda in terms of a division.
One of the things that used to be true, and you'll tell me if it still is that for people who steal, say for instance, pigs and cattle, they're usually from other parishes. So you go to St. Elizabeth to thief cow, you go to thief goat. Is that the same profile you're finding of those you catch in relation to these crimes?
Right. So I'll speak to the connection between Manchester and Clarendon, where some of the players, some have been arrested by our sister divisions, Clarendon or Manchester, players that come across. And the same is true, though. Some of our guys in St. Elizabeth go across. There is, in fact, a connection between, Area 3 as it relates to predial larceny. And what is also critical to mention is that there's a meat for gun. People are selling meat. And there's a lot of trade that takes place out on our waters. And this is another discussion, but we work very closely with the Marine Division as it relates to ensuring and protecting our borders in the St. Elizabeth. People are selling the meat. And so it is a growing concern. It is one that we continue to pay attention to. And we, as I indicate, we push a lot of resources into predial larceny because of what it represents to the lives and livelihood.
We can't leave it there, though, Mr. Minto, because where does the exchange take place? Which beach? Which area?
So we do have, you see, when we talk about persons who are exchanging meat for guns, And the intel that comes through my DIU, Divisional Intelligence Unit, speaks to persons exchanging, particularly for the Haitians. And that is one of the things that we are looking into, is one of the areas that we continue to monitor. It's the information that comes on my decks is something that we talk about, and this expands beyond, St. Elizabeth, but it's something that is known to the police, and we continue to investigate along those lines.
Recently, when you had that the plane incident, Mr. Minto, and Ton and myself have a very good idea of the area that the last plane incident in St. Elizabeth happened, and people who don't know the area were very critical of the police and monitoring. And I was able to say to some people that, look, that area, it is almost impossible to post anybody out there, and what are you going to do? Have them in the wilderness waiting, hoping for a plane to land? It's very, very tricky terrain. Can you expand on that in terms of the places in the parish that are used as illegal airstrips, and how difficult it is to really, stop people from landing in the bush?
Well, the air that landing of that aircraft, and it took a multi-agency investigation, and I am aware that there's still an active investigation, and so I don't want to comment.
Well, it's not necessarily that one. I'm just talking in general, in places in St. Elizabeth where planes are known to land.
The Ely in the Bridge River area where that plane landed, and the historical background to that area suggests that it was a frequent landing site, but that's many, many years ago. I can't say that it is still an active area, that this is the only one I know of, certainly in my time and in recent years. It is, in fact, a terrain that is surrounded by high vegetation and bushes. What took place in that particular area, persons made out a runway. They cleaned the area and put some makeshift lights to guide the plane in landing. So it was an organized crime, deliberate landing of that plane. But as I indicate, that matter is still under investigation, and I wouldn't want to comment any more on it.
In the corporate area, we see where the police commissioner has his foot patrol unit or beat patrol unit, the very, very strong presence. You can't go too far in the corporate area without seeing a team of 3 police personnel, usually the youngsters, out on foot patrol. He says he's trialing that in the corporate area before sending it elsewhere. Would you have need for such a thing in your town centers in St. Elizabeth?
Well, not only a need, we have already implemented in Area 3 on the directive of our Assistant Commissioner, Mr. Calvin Allen. So all 3 divisions, and St. Elizabeth no different, we have already implemented a beat patrol in our town centers. Santa Cruz is one of our major town centers, Black River, and so if you come into the town centers, you will see a beat patrol. That is augmented by a quick response team that we have in the Santa Cruz area, and that team was actually there before the beat and foot that we now install in that area. And we also support that now with the domestic patrol and the operational support team. So that's how we manage our town. There's our town center management in terms of how we manage our town spaces. But in addition to the beat that we recently implemented, we do have a quick response, and these are the guys on the motorcyclists. And then you have the domestic patrols, which are always and have always been there, and those are supported by the operational support teams that are in, and the operational support teams are in all our major spaces.
In terms of order, I'm happy you spoke of Santa Cruz, because I have a problem, Mr. Minto, between in-town and what's that called out on Morrison's, the other supermarket closer to the stoplight. It right there is chaotic, Mr. Minto. The vendors on both sides of the road cause the road to narrow so much, and you can always anticipate traffic when you're going westwards. When you come to that stoplight at the gas station on your right, you're going to cross the stoplight to come to Morrison's on your right and further down to in-town. It takes a long time to navigate that stretch because there's so many vendors in the road narrowing the space. What are you going to do about that?
So the Santa Cruz Town Center is, is a commercial district which we monitor very, very closly. As you perhaps would have known during the December period, because of the congestion, it was turned into a one-way. That ended sometime early January. But I know there is active discussions. We meet with the municipal and the parish council. Very recently, a week or two ago, there was another meeting. We continue to discuss Santa Cruz as a commercial district, and not only the challenges, but what are the opportunities that exist in there. From a policing point of view, we work along with the enforcement from the municipal area in terms of the anti-vending. Those efforts will continue, but as I indicate, it's a growing town, it's a growing commercial space. A lot of persons go into Santa Cruz, and so we have to provide the necessary resources to police that area. We continue to work with the parish councils regarding the anti-vending issues.
And in relation to your operations, without going into too much details, Acting Superintendent, Jamaica I has assisted your police officers a lot in the parish. Is there any other area? I know the National Security Minister spoke of Santa Cruz and Black River. Is there any other area within the parish at this time where there's an urgent need for those sort of cameras to help your officers to carry out their investigations to monitor the town centers as well?
Right. The Jamaica I has greatly assisted us. We have recovered several vehicles, arrested persons with the aid of the cameras. It serves to a large extent a lot of prevention. We have people who sit in a control room and monitor the town centers through the Jamaica I cameras. Black River is covered. Santa Cruz is covered. There was a pilot in terms of discussion. I know we're not sure further in terms of fully implementation, but Junction, which is another fast-growing town in the space, is to be outfitted with cameras. So those are the three major towns. Do I need cameras? I wish I could put them in all my towns. I have 301 districts. But when you talk about, you go up to Balaclava, Silo, Newmarket, all of those where there's a police station, there's not a big town like Black River or Santa Cruz, but there are so many areas that would significantly benefit from additional cameras. I'm sure they will be able to put it all there. But our major towns are our main concern, and we are in fact seeing those areas.
A final one from me, Vineyard. That community was a bit tense recently. There was a curfew imposed there because of gang activities. What's the update on that community now?
So Vineyards remain one of our communities that we are working very closely with citizens. Following the curfew, we had an intervention in this space. And I really want to commend, particularly the citizens who came out. Hundreds of them came out for a community meeting. The political representatives, the Honorable Floyd Green, the Member of Parliament, Miss Miranda Wellington, the caretaker. We had the Justices of the Peace, our station pastor. We had the Ministers of Religion in the area. A very good meeting. And out of that meeting, we had a number of things coming out. So we have agreed for some smaller meetings with, some of the persons in some small groups. Our critical to sports, which being a big factor, the community has agreed to have a sports competition, football, to play against the police, and that will take place later on this month. And through the Member of Parliament, they are now in discussion to put on a kind of a health fair over in Vineyards, which the police will also support. So I'm optimistic that the work has begun with the citizens. They were very excited about the partnership, and we will continue to work with them. We have not had any major crime, no shootings, nothing at all in Vineyards since that meeting, and we are continuing to monitor it, but working very closely with the law-abiding citizens to keep that area under control.
Acting Superintendent Coleridge Minto giving us a broad update this morning on the St. Elizabeth Police Division. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Gonna take a break and come back with more.
Listen up, motorists. Speeding burns more gas. So slow down. The life you save may be your own and also that of your loved ones. Slow down. Save lives and money. The time by the Insurance Association of Jamaica is
7:47.
At Hawkeye, our mission is to deliver cutting-edge security solutions to help you keep track of the things you value most.
The temperature by Hawkeye is
29 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 27 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay.
This Mother's Day, you have even more reasons to shower mom with love. Use your Sagicor Bank credit card to get her something special, and you could win up to $200,000 cash back. The more you spend on mom, the more chances you get to win. Make this Mother's Day a win-win. Use your Sagicor Bank credit card to show mom some love, and you could win up to $200,000 cash back. Sagicor Bank, the best rewards ever. Conditions apply. Authorized under Section 58.3 of the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Act.
Welcome back. The JTA President, Leighton Johnson, is calling on the government to allocate more funds to the Ministry of Education so that more guidance counselors and social workers can be placed in schools. He was speaking.
We therefore call on the government to demonstrate its willingness to address this major issue of crime and violence that has the potential of crippling our nation. By increasing the budgetary allocations to the Ministry of Education to facilitate the employment of additional guidance counselors and the social workers required to implement and undertake the home-based and community-based interventions. These interventions are necessary to save our children, our communities, and our nation.
Leighton Johnson there at the JTA Education Week National Church Service launch on Sunday. He joins us this morning. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir. Thanks for having me. Good morning to your listeners.
Right. So I was having
George.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Just before you get to your question, I know we don't have a lot of time, but Mr. Johnson, for the regular man out there, what does a guidance counselor do on a typical day? What is their intervention like? Why do we need more of them?
A typical day for a guidance counselor. The guidance counselor has the jurisdiction to provide counseling and support to students, teachers, all stakeholders right across the school. These are persons who are responsible for ensuring that the past beneficiaries receive their tickets for lunch. They are responsible for monitoring that. They are responsible for ensuring as best as possible when the Ministry of Social Services come across, the registers are tallied to ensure that they can keep a tab on the students who attend school on a regular basis. They have the jurisdiction or the responsibility of doing home visits. They have the responsibility of referrals, meeting with students on a daily basis. They are timetabled for at least 8 hours a week for group sessions and class sessions. So the role and duty of a guidance counselor is far-reaching. It's wide. They work closely in connection with the deans of discipline so that once a student has committed an infraction, there has to be some level of counseling, some level of assessment in order to determine how the child is treated. Of course, assessment is necessary. There are several students and the teachers as well as other representatives within the school who require psychosocial assessment, psychosocial treatment, and intervention. The guidance counselors feature heavily in this regard. They play a significant role in the schools where this is concerned. And that is why it is necessary for us to have more guidance counselors in our schools. The current ratio is 500 students to a guidance counselor. And in some regards, there are schools that don't have guidance counselors. There is the cluster-based guidance counseling program that the ministry through the JTA has implemented, through the calling of the JTA has implemented, where there are several small schools to one guidance counselor. So the guidance counselor perhaps will rove over 3 schools, timetably to be in a school at a particular day or at a particular time. We are indicating that it is urgent and necessary now. For one, the quota to guidance counselors, the ratio, rather, of 500 be reduced to between 250 to 300 students to a guidance counselor. This is what we're calling for. And we're also indicating that as best as possible, guidance counselors need to be in every school, owing to the plethora of challenges and issues that our students bring, especially coming out of the COVID period. When our students returned to school, there were so many psychosocial issues that our students brought. And in an effort to save our students, to build our nation, it is necessary for the interventions to be effective. And what we find is that our guidance counselors are stretched, they are overworked, and we need more to be in the system.
Mr. Johnson, and I'm sure you have brought this matter before the Education Ministry. They have indicated to us that it's budgetary constraints. I see you here making call for more allocations. Is there any other explanation that has been given to the JTA as to why they can't get a guidance counselor or more guidance counselors into our institutions? Nobody wants the job?
No. It's not a matter that nobody wants the job. There are qualified and certified guidance counselors right across our nation. The fact is that the ministry has indicated that it is as a result of the budgetary constraints why they are unable to, one, reduce the ratio to 250 or to 300 and to employ at least a guidance counselor in every school. It is simply down to the budget.
So here's the thing, though, Mr. President. I've often wondered if the training programs that prepare the guidance counselors to act in our schools, if we don't need to revisit this, because I'm wondering if we're outfitting those who are new to the party with the requisite skills to be able to cope with the kind of issues that they're facing in the children in the schools today.
I'm not sure there is a challenge with the training of guidance counselors at this time, on the basis that for the most part, guidance counselors who have been engaged in our schools have demonstrated the capacity and capability to treat with the issues that our students or the school presents with. They have demonstrated that ability. They have been able to implement programs and initiatives with some degree of success. The issue is, as I indicated, that when you have a school which has perhaps 600 students with one guidance counselor, that is
going to be overwhelmed.
So the guidance counselor is going to be overwhelmed.
Yes.
And in many regards, this is what we find.
Yes.
The cluster-based guidance counselors as well, who have to serve 2 or 3 or 4 schools in some instances. Though the schools are small, you can only provide interventions perhaps a day per week to meet everybody. And that in and of itself, though the suggestion is something that as an association we recommended, I believe that now has outlived its usefulness, and we now need to get to the space where there's a guidance counselor in every school.
And what is true is that if you've been through the school system, as Tana did, and never met the guidance counselor, know what he or she did, that's good, because it shows that your behavior was in keeping with the expected standard. So Principal, here's the thing again. The issue of the role, just refine something you said earlier for me. Is it that the guidance counselor, when dealing with a child with psychosocial issues, is it that the guidance counselor acts as the first responder to say, well, what to do with the child, or they just based on their assessment make a referral to an expert for more and deeper intervention?
Right. And it's twofold. One, in some instances, the guidance counselor and the school, they act as the first responders. They assess the situation as best as possible, and wherever interventions at the school level can be implemented, those are done. However, the guidance counselor also has the role and the responsibility of ensuring that, having done the overall assessment, further referrals, if further referrals are required, then further referrals are done. So it's twofold.
Yeah, and does the guidance counselor also ensure that appointments for the child and the parent are kept?
No, no. And that's where the remit of the guidance counselor
stops.
Ends.
Right. There you
that's
go.
That's where it stops.
Yes.
Because once the guidance counselor then indicates to the parents or the guardians that this is the situation, this is the position, and this is the course of action that is recommended for a particular situation, then it is expected that the home, the parents, the guardians would now step in to follow through on this kind of prescription.
Yes.
And again, that is where, in many instances, the challenges are.
Yes.
The referrals are made, the prescription is given, but there is no follow through on the part of the home or the parents in ensuring that what the child needs, he or she gets. It's just like going to the doctor and you get a prescription. In order for you to get better, you have to go and get the medication. In some regards, this is done, but there is no follow-up at school. There is no follow-up from the home in terms of following through with the prescribed treatment so the students can get better.
We're almost out of time. Let me ask you this quickly. Are guidance counselors now designated as traveling officers in the schools?
Yes, guidance counselors have been designated as traveling officers in our schools.
Okay. Just to clarify that. All right. Thank you very much for your time this morning, Mr. President. All the best. And may I say before you go, it's so refreshing, Tona, that we hear from a JTA president so often, and it's not about wages and salaries and benefits. It's about things to improve the sector. I really appreciate that, Mr. Johnson. May you continue until your tenure ends.
Thank you so much.
All right.
This is what the JTA is about: advocacy and the development of education.
Thank you. Across Jamaica.
Front Page was brought to you today by ABC Electrical Sales, for a better choice in the electrical business.
Clearing personal, non-commercial shipments at the port? Avoid the wait. Request a contactless clearance through your agent today. It's more efficient. It's secure. The time by the Jamaica Customs Agency is
8 o'clock.
From the mountainside to seaside, countryside to townside, inside and outside, it's across Jamaica this morning.
Taking you across Jamaica this Monday morning, I'm Tona Thomas. The Hordley Crossing section of the Golden Grove Main Road in St. Thomas leading into Portland is currently impassable. This is due to flooding caused by heavy rains overnight. The Jamaica Constabulary Force, in an early morning advisory, noted that 2 motorists who were trapped in a vehicle were rescued by the police who responded to a 119 emergency call. Motorists are being advised to steer clear of the area until they are further updated. The police say members of the public may call the 119 Emergency Center for updates. Meanwhile, the Met Service says Jamaicans should brace for more rains over the next 48 to 72 hours. Duty forecaster Raquel Smith says the rainy season has begun.
We're in the rainfall season, and as such, we expect showers and thunderstorms, especially in the afternoon going up to the evening hours. For the next 72 hours, we expect the unstable weather conditions to continue. For tomorrow, we expect isolated morning showers and possible thunderstorm across sections of eastern parishes. In the afternoon and evening, we expect scattered showers and thunderstorms across most parishes. For Tuesday, it's a mainly sunny morning. In the afternoon, showers and likely thunderstorm is forecasted for northern, southwestern parishes and hilly areas. And for Wednesday, we expect afternoon showers across sections of southern parishes and hilly areas.
Raquel Smith, a duty forecaster at the Met Service. Browns Hall, a primary school in rural St. Catherine, has received 6 smart television sets to support the school's efforts to incorporate technology in learning. The 50-inch sets, valued at over $340,000, were donated by founder and chief executive officer of Perry's Funeral Home, Peter Perry, who is a past student of the school. Principal of Browns Hall Primary, Novaline Leachman, says a TV set will be installed in every classroom. She says that teachers will be able to readily access information on the internet to support classroom lessons. She also says that students will be able to watch documentaries and other educational programs during lunch and break time. Finally, in across Jamaica, the Portland police have charged 2 teenagers with the murder of 34-year-old Julian Minot, a farmer of Maho District, Bangor Bridge in the parish. Charged are 18-year-old Ronald Miller, otherwise called Rummy, a farmer of the same community, and a 14-year-old teenager. Reports from the Buff Bay Police are that the deceased man and the teens were at a shop on Friday, April 19, when about 6:30 p.m. an argument developed. The dispute escalated and the youngsters allegedly used a knife to stab Minot several times. He was pronounced dead at hospital. The teens were apprehended after being implicated during the investigation. They are awaiting a court date to answer to the charge. And that's it for Across Jamaica for this Monday morning. I'm Tawna Thomas.
Building wealth the smart way means you have a clear mission for your money. Specific and measurable means defining the reason for your financial goals. Achievable and realistic means keeping those goals meaningful, yet attainable. Think more retirement, less world's richest. Timely means keeping a time frame in mind so that all efforts remain focused.
Visit barita.com/opportunities for more growth coach insights.
The best Burger King with the best tasting burger under the sun. You deserve the best. You are number one. Best. Flame grilling, juicy whopper, cause you deserve it. Yeah, next level, awesome. That's how we serve it. Mama menu done your way. You got the taste rules every day. Flame grilled goodness, you deserve it. Great taste, well done. More flavor, fresh fun. Burger King, best tasting burger under the sun.
Nationwide 90 FM is at it again. Team Revolution will clear every hurdle and sprint to the finish line as we cover the games of the 33rd Olympiad from Paris, the city of love.
Fraser Price gets the start, and look at this, Ahuri going well, and here they're coming to close it down. Jetta's coming through, but Fraser Price on the near side, the Olympic champion defends! She defends the title! Wonderful run by Sally Ann.
Nationwide's coverage is powered by our diamond sponsor, Pizza Hut. Now, that's delivering from all locations, island-wide.
Welcome back to Nationwide this morning, turning our attention now to the Shields Crime and Security Consultants who are hosting a security seminar. The security seminar, with the support of the Jamaica Constabulary Force, is set to be a groundbreaking seminar to revolutionize security infrastructure in Jamaica. The private event will take place on May 8 at the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel in New Kingston. The breakfast seminar, dubbed Securing Tomorrow, will showcase innovative technological security solutions from leading global providers, focusing on empowering organizations to improve their security and effectively combat crime. For more on this seminar, we're being joined by the founder of Shields, the Crime and Security Consultants Limited, Mark Shields. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for joining us here on Nationwide this morning. Talk to us about the seminar. We just told our listeners, Mark, that it's being dubbed a seminar that will revolutionize security infrastructure in Jamaica.
Yes, what we hope to do is exactly that, to revolutionise using technology and security across Jamaica. My view is, having been in the business for 15 years in terms of security, and of course police service prior to that the private sector in Jamaica in places, it needs to really catch up with what's available. I think some of the methodologies around security are somewhat old-fashioned, and what we want to do is to demonstrate to about 100 business leaders, prominent business leaders and security chiefs, some of the technology that's available that will actually improve security, and in fact join in with the partnership with the Jamaica Constabulary Force to make Jamaica a safer place.
So it's improving their security, but also in improving their security, they're helping the JCF whenever the need arises for the JCF to rely on them.
I think it's a question of a partnership with all of us, because I think we all know that crime and security isn't something that's just the premise of the Jamaica Constabulary Force. They have the most critical part to play in that, but they rely on the rest of us, the private sector, in order to work with them.
Right.
And the way I see that is that every single company, if they use the best technology to protect their premises and their staff and their clients, that in itself will help in terms of the fight against crime. One way, of course, that's already being done is through Jamaica Eye, and the fact that the private sector can join the system. But what we're trying to do is to demonstrate to the private sector that the current reliance on security guards is somewhat old, that we certainly need security guards, so no one is suggesting that they're no longer needed, but there are ways in which their roles can be enhanced by the use of technology. For example, some of the technology that we'll be demonstrating on Wednesday includes cameras with facial recognition, cameras that are able to identify somebody, say, in a red shirt that was in an area in a particular time. So rather than going back through the old system of looking at a DVR, that's the recording system for CCTV, that we can identify every person in a red shirt within the last 30 days even, and we can do that within a matter of seconds. License plate recognition, facial recognition, all of this technology is available. And at the moment, I find that whether it's public or private sector, sometimes when we are, as a security company, we're invited to tender for a specification around cameras, then frankly it's quite outdated. And I think lots of companies are missing the point of what's available. It isn't about spending lots more money. Spending money on security technology will actually save money in the long term.
So, Mr. Shields, who is expected to speak at the seminar?
Okay, we've got, there are about 4 key areas. First and foremost, we've invited Deputy Commissioner of Police, Fitz Bailey, who will be speaking to the audience about how the JCF has enhanced technology to improve both crime detection and crime prevention. I will be speaking, and then we've invited 2 international experts or companies. The first is Facada, an American company who specialize in integrated security systems, from cameras to access control and other features, all on one platform, which is be quite exciting to see. And then secondly, for those who do not wish to replace all of their systems, we have a company from Israel called Kawamo, who can introduce technology into an existing conventional camera system to give it the AI that enables the cameras to see people coming over walls, people in areas they shouldn't be, etc., etc. So that means that one doesn't have to spend literally hundreds of thousands of dollars on new systems. There are ways of enhancing our current equipment. And then lastly, but not least, Digicel Business Solutions. They're sponsoring our event. They're really the back end of security. They provide the data and pipe that's absolutely needed in order that we can send data to and from our cameras from other security systems. And they will be there as well to speak on how they support security. So it's going to be quite an event. It's only 2 hours, 2 or 3 hours maximum. And although it's an invitation-only event, I expect the media will be there, so we will let the public know about the benefits that we'll be discussing during the seminar.
Mm-hmm. And you spoke a lot on the things to be implemented, but I'm assuming that a part of this is also that you need to train people to know how to use the new technology that is going to be implemented. Is that a part of the seminar?
It won't be part of the seminar, but obviously where people will take up the fact that there is new technology available, my experience is that none of this is particularly difficult to use. I have no trouble using it, and I'm well past 60, but I'm able to pick it up quite quickly.
Yes.
I don't think there's going to be any issues with that. I think certainly with Kawamo and Fakada, these systems are very sophisticated in terms of what they can do to enhance security, but in terms of being able to use them, that's relatively easy. I'll give you one example in terms of how it would be a benefit to the Jamaica Constabulary Force. If an incident occurred at a particular private sector premises, we can share the footage of 15 seconds, 20 seconds or whatever with every single police officer on WhatsApp or via email, and literally give them that, or even give them access to the cameras. So if there's a live, ongoing, life-threatening situation, we can give access to the Jamaica Constabulary Force.
Hold on,
Mr.
Shields. I want you to go over that again. You're saying there's
Sure.
a system. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, the system would, one, enable us to share the cameras with the private sector so we can actually send out, say, a 15, 20-second shot of what happened to the police, etc. Or alternatively, we can give access to the police for a period of 5 minutes, 5 hours, or 5 days if there's an active crime situation, in order that they can use the cameras within the private sector to follow that particular incident.
Wow. And this you can send quickly via WhatsApp.
Yep, within a matter of seconds. Facial recognition is a massive point on this. Mm-hmm. If we had these cameras, which we do have, say, in supermarkets, if a prolific shoplifter enters the store, we do not wait for the security guard to alert us that that particular person is there. The technology alerts us that that particular individual is back in the store. And then we can share that, of course, in partnership with other private sectors, with other markets, with other retailers who are suffering from shoplifting. As an example, or robbery, fraud, whatever it is, we can share those images.
Yeah. And you said how many entrepreneurs, people in the business industry will be at the seminar on May 8th?
We're hoping for a capacity 100 people at the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel on Wednesday morning. And I think, judging by the interest in terms of what we've put out, I think we will fill every seat. And it's a free breakfast. That's always encouraging for people to come along.
Are any small businesses showing interest?
We've really gone across the board. We've taken every single sector in Jamaica, in the private sector, invited them. Clearly, with only 100 seats, it's not possible to invite everybody, but we will get the message out there after this particular seminar. And maybe if this goes well, which I suspect it will, we can do something on a far grander scale next year.
Mm-hmm. So just to remind us of the topics that will be discussed, where the seminar is taking place, and the time.
Okay, it's 7:30 a.m. on Wednesday morning at the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel on the 17th floor, Talk of the Town conference room. And the theme of the whole conference is using technology in security, in physical security, to enhance it.
And remind us, you said there are 4 topics or 4 speakers and what they'll be speaking on.
Absolutely. We've got Deputy Commissioner of Police, Fitz Bailey, who will be speaking on the Jamaican Constabulary Force use of technology in fighting and preventing crime. We have Fakada from the United States talking about their cameras and integrated security systems. Kawamo from Israel talking about enhancing existing systems and introducing AI into conventional camera systems. And finally, Digicel Business Solutions will be speaking about how they can support businesses, both public and private sector, in providing the data to make these cameras and other technology work.
And Mr. Shields, I just got a message on my WhatsApp, a listener saying my company needs that service, would love to go. How do we register for the seminar? Is there still space for somebody?
I'd be happy that if that person would contact us, I can give you an email address.
Sure.
And that person or people can contact us. The address is info, at Shields, SHIELDS, CSC.com. So that's info at shieldscsc.com.
So they just send you an email that they have an interest in attending,
Absolutely.
and you pass
and
on
if
the
we
information.
can fit them in, we'd be happy to have them.
We'll do that.
We'll see how the space goes, for sure.
Okay, gotcha. So
Okay.
that's the seminar. It's called Securing Tomorrow. That's coming up on Wednesday at 7:30 a.m. at the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel. It's an invite only if it is that you have a company out there and you're seeking to bolster your security. You can, I'm going to repeat the email for you. It's info at Shields, that's SHIELDSCSC.com. Send an email to Mr. Shields that you have an interest, and he'll see if he can squeeze you in to ensure that you benefit from all the information that will be on hand on Wednesday. Mr. Shields, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Going to take a break and come back with your calls. The number's 630-9371-4, 630-9371-4, and our digital line 618-8255.
Crisp and refreshing. Room temperature or chilled. A pure water would drink. The time by Pure Water is
8:19.
Bag it and bin it, every rubbish in a van. No dirty up the place, this happy we island. So keep Jamaica, say make we do it, keep Jamaica clean. Beg you listen to me please, no plastic bag, no fear blowing at the breeze. No, proper garbage, disposal, recycle plastic, now make it full up in the streets. Bag it and bin it, every rubbish in a van. No dirty up the place, this happy we island. So keep Jamaica, say make we do it. A message from the National Solid Waste Management Authority.
Watch for Shelley Fraser Price.
I stay locked to the Olympics because, of course, I'm Jamaican. What you mean? Me, I have to tune into the Olympics, man. Because I'm always busy, but what? I have to know when Sherika Jackson beat Shakari.
Brother, I have to have every notification for the Olympics. I want to hear every run.
Now Sherika Jackson coming up.
Every jump.
Oh, that is absolutely huge of Wade Pinkham.
Every fling. Live.
So, take us then.
Nothing can miss me.
We're always on the move.
So while we're driving, run, Elaine, run.
Jogging. Yes. Run, Watson. Win again.
Watson is now a world champion.
Or even at work.
Quick. The race has started.
We can't miss a beat because we keep it locked
To the only station
For the Paris Olympics.
nationwide.
90
FM.
Nationwide 90.1, 90.3, 90.5, 90.7, and 90.9. And on YouTube at Nationwide 90 FM Live. Nationwide, the new revolution in media. Nationwide 90 FM is an affordable medium to advertise your business. Increase your sales with Nationwide's reasonably priced advertising packages customized to suit your pocket. Contact our sales department today at 630-1210 or 630-1216. That's 630-1210 or 630-1216. Nationwide 90 FM. Smart advertising, value for your money.
Phone call time? Yeah, man. We have one already? Are you want me to run the numbers now? Robert?
I am. Yes, I'm Robert.
Yeah, man. Morning, Robert.
Good morning, sir.
Morning, sir.
I am a 82 pensioner. Okay, sir?
You're an 82 pensioner, 82-year-old pensioner?
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm having a warm time with the people for national insurance.
Mm-hmm.
I reside in America, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And I make several trips down here to get my national insurance. And this year, I'm here now 5 months in the year, going 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
And we went to the pension officer,
Mm-hmm.
Miss Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? They hold me from May 21 to October 23.
Which year?
Year May 21 to October 23.
May 2021 to October 2023?
Yes.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And when I went to her, she told me I will get my money by the end of March.
Mm-hmm.
I get the first money the 15th and the back money the last of the month. And sir,
Mm-hmm.
they have everything, the bank account and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And when I went to the bank, not even sent the tax.
They put in the account. Mm-hmm.
In the account. I went back to her, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And she only put in 84,000 for the back money,
Mm-hmm.
and 20,000 for the first or the money.
Mm-hmm.
And from that, she don't put back not even 1 cent from my back money.
Mm-hmm.
April, she only put 20,000, which is a monthly payment, sir.
Yes.
And I supposed to go back to America to go to get my medical ultrasound.
Yes.
Okay. And Miss Johnson, them people up there, they intend to steal my money.
No. Hold on. No. I can't say that. No, you can't say that. So here's what you're gonna do. I want you to give my producer your number. I have somebody there you can talk to directly who can help you. All right?
My phone number.
Yeah, man. So hold on the line. My producer is going to take your phone number. When I come off air, I'm going to get the number for the person that you should call, and that person will help you at NIS. All right? Okay, so just hold on to the line. Hold the line.
Faithful, good morning to you.
Good morning, Donna. Good morning, George.
Morning, sir.
On Friday, you have Mr. Damon King. I must confess, he's my best person that I like to listen when it comes to financial matter.
Yes.
He said that he should move the threshold, the taxpayer threshold from 1.5 to 2.5.
Yes.
You laid out to him that it would cost $35 million.
36.8.
$36.8 billion. Mm-hmm. Did he say, Did he say how that money would come about to fill the gap?
It's an excellent question, because guess what? He was saying, I said to him that the government's mission to present an expenditure budget with no new taxes, right. In other words, the measure is revenue neutral, then perhaps the need to maintain that record is why the government is not contemplating or couldn't make the move at the time. Exactly. But he didn't say that in plain ways. So when we asked him again, he said, well, have I said it already 4 times? That's what he said. You've said something 4 times, but not plain out like as I wanted to say it for everybody to understand, which is why you are calling me this morning to ask me, because you never hear it plain.
Right.
So plainly, he accepts that for the government to do that, you would need taxes. And Nigel Clark is saying, well, we're not putting on any taxes now, therefore we can't do it, because we can't do it without using taxes to support it.
Exactly. He speak up in balance. when in fact maybe it be true. I don't know how true it would be, but I'm thinking it would have a greater impact on the poor class of people.
No, because the calculations show. Remember from Dr. Clark's budget presentation, the number of people who the measure would benefit if you go up to 2.5 million, the number of PAYE people. Those who are at the sharp end of the struggle, those who are most vulnerable then, the calculations show that they would benefit least. And it would, and it's people who have higher disposable incomes anyway who would benefit more. Right.
That's what I'm making.
Okay.
So I'm saying it will have a greater impact on the poor class of people.
It won't have a greater impact, is what you're saying.
Right. So
okay.
In other words, tell me then, where would that money come from? In other words, Nigel is advocating for no new tax. And the money have to find somewhere. So is it not forcing the hand of Niger to raise taxes?
Well, that's what he's saying, that he did say so. Not, as I said, not plainly, but he accepts that for the government to do that, then there'll have to be a tax package.
So if we're going to have a tax package, it is not obvious that what the tax package is going to be, whether on food or whatever the case may be, it would not have a great impact on poor people.
Right.
No, that's the point I'm making.
Right.
So it is going against the grain.
Right.
Because if for the first 0.7 million person, they are not paying any tax.
Right.
So it in my mind, it's not obvious more than that is a higher class of person. I don't know if I use higher class of person, higher pay scale.
Income. Mm-hmm.
Right, the higher income then. Who would benefit more.
Mm-hmm.
And the one at the lower end would benefit less.
Right.
Right. So I don't see... I don't, and he's saying that it should be in place by the next 6 months.
Yes.
Right. So I don't see, I'm not seeing based on government program or possibility that is.
Economists have different approaches to how to strike balance, and Dr. King put his ideas on the table. And look, he never spoke behind the finance minister's back. Dr. Clark was right there in the audience.
I know, man. I'm not arguing that he speak behind the mind for that. I'm just use my own calculator and see or practical in my mind. Mm-hmm. I think it is, and I don't think it is so practical now.
And as
I like the way that Nigel put it. Say little by little.
Yes,
and as it is we're in which it don't have raise taxes.
Right, and as Dr. Clark said, the amounts that they've put into social programs huge, because one of the things over time, Faithful, as you can recall, governments would say, for instance, you increase path by say 5%, but then inflation is 7%. So in real terms, you've put nothing into path. What Clark has been able to tell you is that for cycle over cycle, the increase that they've applied to social intervention programs are several percentage points above inflation. So even when you adjust it for inflation, it's still a real increase, an increase in real terms. So he's saying that that's part of the balancing act as well.
Yeah, and with the budget that Mr. Clark laid out, and with the, I don't know if you call it miscalculation, his expectation that where some taxes should have come from, those persons did not turn over. It did not live to for them.
Yeah, it's not miscalculation. It's just that the collections don't match the projections, right?
Right, projection and prediction I didn't make. Right. So and there's a gap there to fail. So would that not add burden to and more burden?
Well, as he said, Tana, that TAJ would do the collections and then they'll see where they are.
TAJ is trying to do the collection. If it is that doesn't really come up as how they're expecting, he says there are other options that will not burden the taxpayers.
Yes, that is on Niger Clark part, but that, I mean, based on what Mr. King is saying, and to do it in 6 months and knowing that you have a gap there also, is that not added burden?
It would be burden on Dr. Clark to figure it out if he's not going to go the route of new taxes. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, man.
Yes, Faithful.
All right, Faithful.
Who's next? Take a break and then come back with more calls.
You're listening to Nationwide 90 FM. The time is
8:32.
Cool
Selling you 500 grand. Fi buy appliances and electrons. All flexible payment plan. Yeah, man, a hot cash. Hot. I hope to 500 grand. Yeah, man, a hot cash. $500,000 that make you rich fast. 100 grand fi buy steel and black. 200 fi furniture, laptop. 200 fi keep birthday bash. Yeah, money loan hot. Get a cool loan to purchase all your electronics, furnitures, and appliances at coolmarket.com.
Attention all commuters, your JUTC fares just got lower. Use your Smarter card today and pay only $50. Yes, only $50. Travel safe and hassle-free with the JUTC using your Smarter card. But wait, there's more. Get 3 free rides with your first Smarter card top-up before May 31. With your Smarter card, paying your fare is easier. Say goodbye to coins and hello to hassle-free travel. Don't miss this opportunity when you travel with the JUTC, your route to excellence. Conditions apply.
The best Burger King with the best tasting burger under the sun. You deserve the best. You are number one. Best. Flame grilling, juicy whopper, cause you deserve it. Yeah, next level, awesome. That's how we serve it. Mama menu done your way. You got the taste rules every day. Flame grilled goodness, you deserve it. Great taste, well done. More flavor, fresh Burger King, best tasting burger under the sun.
So in the YouTube chat, some people are saying, drawing our attention to this story about Indian nationals arriving and being at a certain location and saying that they saw it on another station, then turn on a cuss we for not giving them updates on that story. That makes sense, don't you? Why you never call that station and ask them, so well, you carried a story to say so and so, where is the update? But anyway, we're checking it out for you because so many of you in here in up in arms over it. So we are seeing if there's truth to this story that there are several nationals of a particular country who are here, and I think based on what the story said, they're not straight.
Mm-hmm.
So since you don't want to go to where you heard the story and cuss them for not giving you the update, you're over here cussing us, we'll check it for you. All right? Cool.
The number is 630-9371-4, 630-9371-4, and 618-8255. That's the digital line. And who's next? William?
Morning, Tanya. Morning, George.
Morning to you.
Morning, William.
Yeah, you know, some time ago, I heard a politician say pretty talk, can't put water in a pipe or fix road or do certain things. And for over the years, like even before Tanya born, me and Monty Perkins speak about pretty talk towards some of these children decide to go out there and create crime. Pretty talk not going to stop it, you know. We can't make excuse for a child when they do certain things. Jad, when I was going to school, as a student, I even at the community, you couldn't, as a child, even take out a knife out your pocket, make either a child see you or a big person see you. Not even how much as take it out, much as to use it. To show how serious our parents and other big person who actually everybody become your parents. Serious with you. Right? We allow this thing to get to between pretty talk and make excuse for these children, and it continue to slip till it reach down into a pit where it cannot come up back.
Yes.
Right? And many people who try to make excuse supposed to be blamed for some of these things what happen now.
All of us, though, William. All of us are to be blamed.
Not all of us, Dad. Some of us stand up to the right and principle and discipline, but some allow it to get away.
Yes.
And they make excuse for it.
Yes.
And that's why we find ourselves in this position where we know.
Yes.
Right? When I was taking bus as a child, you think a big person could have tell me something on the bus, right? And I tell that big person anything will come out of my mouth.
True.
Right? And people try to defend it and behave like something good.
Yes.
Right? That is the pit where we find ourselves into now.
The statement "low the youth them" has done so much damage and caused so many problems we don't even know, because when they are acting out and someone reprimands them or scolds them or chides them responsibly, there's another adult who say "low the youth them, man," and sit there now.
Right? I as a senior citizen, disabled person, taking a bus, and when you find some children rush up sideways and lick it down at the bus stop, flat at ground, several senior citizens, and nobody can see them. Everybody afraid of them. Everybody afraid of them. You was asking Mr. Johnson putting into the guidance counselor.
Yeah.
To tell you the truth, many of them afraid of these children.
True.
Right, but them not talking. The dean of discipline afraid of them. Because them feel like the children feel like they can do anything and then get away with it. Then get people protect them from the wrongs. Right? We need to correct it. Years and years, me and Mr. Perkins talking about this. That we are leading our children the wrong way.
Yes.
And it continues up till this moment. And that's how we find ourselves in this deep pit.
Hear you, my brother. Thank you.
That is my little 2 cents. We need to look back where we're coming from to where we are going now.
All right, William. Thank you.
Yeah, man.
So, Tana, listen to this one now in the YouTube chat. Your Burza says, boy, the response from George Davis is alarming. Nationwide has reported on several other incidents carried by other media and do fact-checking to find the truth. Example, the St. James High School incident. My response is alarming. They're not people here asking, if we've heard and, what have we heard. They are quarreling with us for not giving them an update. How can we not? Is it they're hiding it? It's something I said, but no, man. Here's what I'm saying. If you've heard a story somewhere and you want an update on the story, you come and you ask. If you don't hear it in any of our newscasts, you don't hear we're talking about it, then tell us, boy, this thing is out there and I think you guys should check it out. But that's not what has happened. People are quarreling with us for not giving them the update and upset. How could we not be updating the story? Are we holding it down? That's what I'm talking about now, your Burza. You understand? No, you see, I them to encourage that. You know what they say.
I hear you.
Ask me if I've heard the story. Ask Nationwide if we've heard the story. And say, well, I didn't hear it in 6 and 7. You guys should know that this is out there, so you need to check it out. But yeah, curse we for not giving you an update on something that we never carry. That was you. Then you say you identify where you heard it, and I ask why we don't have an update for the story where you hear elsewhere, because elsewhere don't give the update. That makes sense. Lord of mercy. Anyway, morning, Delroy.
Morning, how are you?
Good, man.
Good morning to you all, the calls. Awesome.
Morning to you.
I would like to add on that thing with the kids for about a second or two. I went to a primary school, my grandson's primary school, and they were having boys' days. So the men came with the boys and the girls went up to come to school that day. I went to the canteen when it's time to buy food, and I was standing up in the line. And I see some primary school, and I see some guys, some small boys at the front of the line. And I said to myself, why are they allowing? So I waited until I was up there. I asked Cassie, I said, why did you see them coming at the front of the line? And it's Cassie, why didn't you send them to the back of the line? She said, well, you were over there and you didn't know what's happening here. I was telling them to go to the back of the line. And some three parents or three big men was telling her to allow them. And this is after I told her, this is the school and whatever, not a road. So she should have stood telling them back. But I suppose she must have been intimidated by three gentlemen allow them. So you are right. We do, parents and other people allow them to do what they must do, and as a result, we can't stop them now.
Yes.
The government, I think, they're really thinking. They should realize or can realize that what they should be campaigning on is not what they want to do within a year. They should be campaigning on what they have done in the past couple of years, right? Because last year and the year before that, we hear this is happening, this never happened in 50 years, this is happening, never happened in 20 years, we are doing this, it never happened before, and all that stuff. However, the government is coming out as if they need to do more right? And they have to explain. After you have shown what you can do, you should campaign on what you have done.
But hold on, but don't be unfair though, Delroy, because guess what? The reason a man or a woman says this never happened in 30 years and I'm doing it now, it's a defense response to those who are fuming at the thing not being done, and they're saying, well, hold on, for several cycles you were here and nobody did it. So you had nobody to cuss about it not being done quickly because they weren't doing it any at all. I am doing it now. So why are you coming down on me like a ton of bricks when I am doing it, when before me it wasn't being done at all? In the 30 years before me, nobody even attempted to do this. I am doing it now. So just have some patience, let it run its course to completion, and don't waste time quarreling with me about not doing something that my predecessors didn't even attempt. That's the context.
But that is my point. But they're not doing that. They're being very timid as if they have not done anything as yet.
Mm-hmm.
And then everybody's getting the impression that they should be still doing more. I heard, some tourists, let's say, tour operators or hotel people in the country having water problems. And they're cussing the government about the water problem. The government has been doing something about the water problem. No. And water is not a commodity that the government can go abroad and buy and bring come to Jamaica, you know. So as a result of no rain, which is God's doing, right? And they have to be trying to explain to these hoteliers why they can't do that at this point in time because it's really affecting the situation.
Mm-hmm.
I think they need to start saying, people, there's something that we can do now, and there's something that we have done now to brought us to this point, but the government is not talking like that.
Mm-hmm.
And if I just put in this last thing, the mayor of Kingston, current the new one, went to Constant Spring, to the market people, and said, you see all of the free light we'll use to get, it cut out when the apple got pierced to the light. And what I know is, if anyone of Mr. Williams and his people had said that before, everybody would have said, poor people poor and suffer, and you can't, the next. The government needs to start talking like that. Because they cannot give them any more than they've given them to a point.
Stick up in there, right? Because that comes back to the original point you made.
Yeah.
So look, here, this is the Jamaica we live in. So Tana and her, well, not Tana. What do I say, Tana? People are out there vending in the streets, blocking traffic, creating a garbage nuisance and everything else. Somebody goes out there to remove them from the streets. People say, how you feel take the woman goods off of the street? She had try if send her picnic them go school. How you feel take up the man's stall? He might try feed him picnic them. Might try you want him to go take up gun and thief. But you're saying, but look, there are vending zones that are vacant. This is a no vending zone that everybody is packed up in. We're trying to remove them to enforce public order. No, don't move them because you try stop the people in food. And there are a lot of people who say that and you cuss and you're going bad. That is a part of the problem that Jamaica has. There are too many people who don't know wrong from right, and everything boiled down to, the man try feed himself and try feed him family. Where you try stop the man food for? Everything goes as long as you can say, try eat a food. Try feed somebody. So do whatever you want. And there's a group of politicians who never speak out where public order issues are concerned when they are not in power. When they are in power, they try to maintain the law and order. When they are outside, they turn a blind eye. So we in a cycle, brethren, a vicious cycle.
I haven't heard the civil society mention anything about the rankings in the press freedom thing. In fact, I've heard no one talk about it. And the last time when it went down one, or up one, whichever way, it was a negative way. One, I heard which was spoken about for a week at least. And it went up at 6 or 18 or something like that.
Yeah.
And I've not heard anyone said anything. We are upset. I think the civil society is the next set of people need to sort out, because they cannot be subjective. And I think also, can you call one or two of them who had said all is bad thing when you went on and asked them what is their opinion of this time, since they are not going to volunteer to say anything. Should I ask the radio stations or the media to ask them, what do you think of it now?
Go on social media when they post or they put their things out. You can ask them in the comment section. I have to run. All right.
All right, sir.
Thank you.
The Birthday Club is brought to you by Burger King, the best tasting burger under the sun.
Members only, it's a private party. Don't need no money to qualify. Don't bring your checkbook, bring your broken heart. 'Cause it's members only
tonight.
Yeah, you can't leave Mr. Arlington. Come on, man.
Say you lost your woman.
Come on, Tony. Say you lost here. Say you lost here.
I don't know the song like that.
You got a lot of problems in your life. Well, they throw in a party for the broken heart.
Come on, Tony. You must do the party. Come. Cause it's
members only tonight.
Hear that, King? Leave her alone. She improve.
It's that time of the morning where we tell some very special people happy birthday and happy anniversary. I'm not going to stop drawing out now. Over on Facebook, happy birthday greetings going out to Joan Thomas. Big up yourself, Joan. Here, say you're always bringing mangoes for us. Big up yourself. Hope you have a really good day. Very, very important birthday here, VVIB. Happy birthday as well to Dan Grant Watson, Hopeton Daly, Ashley Witter, Tanisha Carr, and Pete. I almost thought this was the former opposition leader, but it's not. And happy birthday to Peter Phillips. Happy birthday to you, Peter. Hope you have a good day.
He's of the Peter Phillips disco fame. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Big sound.
Mm-hmm. And happy birthday to Patrick Nelson, Lucille Bent, Donna Morrison Reef. Also on Facebook celebrating their birthday today, Natalie, this one says Setgood Smith. Happy birthday to you, Natalie. Happy birthday to Slimmers Tanique and Tika Morrison. And happy birthday, Camila Parks. Also celebrating a birthday today, I did see on the YouTube chat.
While you look for that, Alicia Roberts from KPMG, understand your birthday was on Sunday. So on Sunday, Alicia Roberts from KPMG, and we've been told to big you up nonetheless, a day after your birthday.
I did see a birthday not long ago. YouTuber, if you could drop back your birthday in the chat so that we can wish you a special one. But so far, those are the birthdays. If you're celebrating your birthday today, happy birthday to you. If you're celebrating your anniversary, happy anniversary to you as well.
Am I wrong to hunger for the gentleness of your touch? Knowing I got someone else at home who needs me just as much. And are you wrong to give your love to a married man? And am I wrong for trying to hold on to the best thing I ever had? If loving you is wrong, I don't want to be right.
Precious Soul says, George Antonio, yesterday was my birthday. So Precious, can you imagine what? Oh, God. They're unruly people.
I'm glad that's not a thing.
Andrea Gale says, happy 46th anniversary, Mr. and Mrs. Carlton Morrison from the Gale family. Happy 46th anniversary. Mr. and Mrs. Carl. A long time, that, you know?
Yeah.
46 murder. Coming from Andrea Gale. She says it's from the Gale family. Mr. and Mrs. Carlton Morrison, 46 years and strong. Barry says belated happy birthday greetings to Carlos McLeod, a teacher of Watermount Primary School. Where's Watermount again? It's in St. Catherine. Belated happy birthday greetings to Carlos McLeod, teacher of Watermount Primary School.
Another one here, Rupert Wilson sending happy birthday greetings to Latoya Gordon in Florida. Happy birthday to you, Latoya, from your friend Rupert. Hope you have a good day as well. And did you say this one? Andrea Gale sending 50th birthday greetings to Inspector Warren Ward. They're at the Falmouth Police Division. Happy birthday to you, Inspector Ward. Hope you have a really good day. Coming from Andrea.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes late at night I lie awake and watch her sleeping. She's lost in peaceful dreams, so I turn out the light, lay there in the dark. And the thought crosses my mind, if I never wake in the morning, would she ever doubt the way I feel about her in my heart? If tomorrow never comes, will she know how much I love?
This song is to Mrs. King from Mr. King. Must I say more? That will do, right? Songs, everything. Mr. King is playing this song for Mrs. King. Alright? Mm-hmm. Tony up, Tony up, Tony up.
And if my time on earth were through, she must face this world without me. Is the love I gave her in the past gonna be enough to last if tomorrow never comes?
So, you hear that? Jermaine says a lady called in one morning sending lavish birthday greetings to a policeman, her husband, and then somebody called afterwards saying that she's the real wife, and then never she send them greetings there. And then slap this, I go up and this. What?
Oh my God!
What? And then the lady asked Mr. King to identify who the previous lady was. You know, Mr. King said, "Mom, I don't know what you're talking about."
Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh!
Jeremy and somebody never on the board. Me the guy eat some breakfast.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine?
It was which woman was that? Who was that woman? I didn't authorize. I didn't send those greetings. Who's that?
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, it have to be a policeman though, or a soldier.
Don't say that.
Morning, Scotty. Morning.
You're a troublemaker. A final one. Gilbert Robotham sending happy birthday greetings to Jermaine. It says, have yourself a wonderful and prosperous day. Long life, full of prosperity and happiness. It's happy birthday to you, Jermaine, from Gilbert. But that's it for the birthdays. Happy birthday to you again if you're celebrating your birthday. If you're celebrating your anniversary, happy anniversary to you.
The Birthday Club was brought to you by Burger King, the best tasting burger under the sun.
We're done.
And that's about it for the show. Thank you so much for tuning in to Nationwide this morning. Thanks to our technical operator and the musical maestro, Jermaine King, our super producer, Michelle McRae-Smith, our editor, Kimon Thompson. Up next, the Consumer Hour with Norgay Banton, and at 10, Cliff Hughes Online. I'm Tona Thomas.
And I'm George.
Good morning.
You've just heard Nationwide this morning on Nationwide 90 FM.
You say it best when you say nothing at all.
fearless, and fear